And Grossinger always offers the lowest prices. That's why you gotta go to the all-new Grossinger Cadillac.
Well, good morning.
Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
Feldco windows are custom-made, energy-efficient, and professionally installed to beautify your home. One call takes care of it all.
Top quality, factory direct price, beautiful.
Call 866 for Feldco.
It is another beautiful evening for Cubs baseball as we greet you from Great American Ballpark. A lot of Cub fans entering the ballpark tonight, and we're set. It's the middle game of a 3-game series. The Cubs dropped the opener 5-3 last night. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The Cubs played a sloppy game defensively last night. 5 unearned runs for the Cincinnati Reds, and Lou was pretty honest about it afterward. He said, I know you guys are trying, but we cannot kick the ball around. It cost them a game last night.
Well, especially in those close ball games. When you're putting up double digits in runs and hits in a ball game, you can overcome some mental and physical mistakes, but last night was not one of those ball games. Mike Fontenot probably should have taken the sure out at first base on that particular play. Ryan Dempster misses the zone there, walking in a run. An unfortunate play at third base for Mark DeRosa. The ball hit a clump of dirt, stayed down, got underneath, and of course when things are going bad, the other team will make you pay. Adam Dunn with a 2-run homer immediately following that DeRosa error.
Dempster pitched pretty well, but again, he gave up 5 unearned runs. And then, offensively, the Cubs had a great chance to tie it in the ninth, but Mike Fontenot got thrown out at the plate. It would not have even been the tying run.
Yeah, normally you like mistakes of aggression, but that was not the right time to be overly aggressive. You have to be 100% sure you can score on that play.
Great pitching matchup tonight. The 2 opening day starters for these clubs, Carlos Zambrano and Aaron Harang.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups you circle on the schedule. Aaron Harang and Carlos Zambrano, both aces of the staff. Harang has given the Cubs problems in the past, although he struggled back on the 15th of April at Wrigley Field. He was suffering from flu-like symptoms in that ball game, and they got him for 5 runs.
So coming up, Carlos Zambrano will make his 8th start of the season. He beat the Reds at Wrigley Field on April 16th. He'll try to beat him again tonight in Cincy.
Hurry in now for Toyota's banner sales event with great deals on a huge selection of Toyotas. Like the stylish Camry, the best-selling car in America. Or the all-new Corolla, a lot of car for the money with great fuel efficiency. Or see the larger-than-life Toyota Tundra, Motor Trend's 2008 Truck of the Year. And check out the all-new Sequoia Limited with seating for 8 passengers. The banner sales event ends soon, so hurry to your Toyota dealer today.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
Have you seen the selection of trailers at the Trailer Depot in Clinton? The area's best kept secret, and the best prices on trailers are at the Trailer Depot. Buy new, buy used, or rent. Trailer Depot has any trailer you need. We even make repairs, sell parts, and get your vehicle ready to tow. Knowing what you're towing keeps us growing at Trailer Depot. Behind you on the road and ahead of the competition. 7th Avenue South in Clinton.
Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher inside our Comcast Sportsnet studios. The Cubs and Reds coming up in just a couple of minutes from Cincinnati. But first, we'll get you caught up on some of the stories here in Chicago. And we start with the White Sox coming off of their 0-6 road trip and now reports about a blow-up doll in the clubhouse over the weekend in Toronto. Now, it was originally brought in as a joke for the guys to relax and hopefully break out of their slump. The White Sox, though, responded to the controversy earlier today at U.S. Cellular Field.
Well, first and foremost, I really truly believe no one on here there was no, bad intent towards, anybody who was obviously offended by it, by the women or whoever was offended by it. There was no bad intent there. It was just, if we knew all this was going to happen, we obviously it wouldn't have happened, but it happened, and there's nothing else we can do about it.
As I say, I'm disappointed in our players. For such an act. I also, I'm a little disappointed that an article comes out in its front page news criticizing the lack of leadership in this area when no one took the time to pick up the telephone and ask exactly were there any initiatives in place. And we certainly, again, were proactive, and we're going to continue to be proactive and would have been regardless of whether something like this happened.
All right, now to the Bulls, where their search for a new head coach continues, and it could be over soon. According to ESPN, John Paxson interviewed Mike D'Antoni 2 times and came away impressed and interested in the Phoenix Suns coach. Now, sources state that D'Antoni wants the Bulls head coaching job and that both teams expect him to wind up in Chicago. D'Antoni has 2 years remaining on his contract with Phoenix, but reportedly wants to leave the team because of his strained working relationship with Suns GM Steve Kerr. And a quick note from Hallis Hall. The Bears cut safety Adam Archuleta today. And that's all the time we have for now. Coming up next is Carlos Zambrano and the Cubs facing the Reds in Cincinnati. Don't forget to join us for Cubs postgame live immediately following the final out right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Enjoy the game.
Here's the good news about the Chevy Impala Luxury Edition. It's loaded with all the comfort and style you're looking for. And OnStar with turn-by-turn navigation standard for 1 year. It's impressed even the toughest critics, our owners.
Here's more good news. Qualified lessees can get a low-mileage lease on this 08 Impala for around $199 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details.
Log on now to ChevyDealer.com.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Experience a Cubs game at historic Wrigley Field. Individual tickets are available for upcoming games. Get your tickets now by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS, visiting the Wrigley Field box office, or by logging on to Cubs.com. See you at beautiful Wrigley Field.
Well, good morning.
Good night. Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
Introducing AT&T Advanced TV. Get a wide selection of programming and more HD channels than cable.
Well?
Not yet.
Is it time?
Not yet. There it is.
Well, started. Find out how to get a DVR with free installation and $50 cash back on qualifying AT&T Advanced TV plans.
You think anybody saw us?
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Chevy. Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Midas for brakes, oil changes, tires, and more. Trust the Midas touch. Your Chicago area Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we want to give you the security to experience wellness everywhere. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cadillac, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
Welcome back to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Zambrano against Harang. And Lou Piniella talks about the season kind of being broken up in 10, 16-game seasons. The Cubs have played 32 games, so let's check it out. 10-6 start. They've gone 8-8 over their last 16, including losing 8 of their last 11. And the Cubs actually have been hitting a little bit better here in this last stretch. The one thing that we talked about in the open and Lou Piniella commented on is making sure this team catches the ball. Here's Lou.
We need to improve defensively. I can tell you that. That's an area definitely that needs improvement, and it's going to be my job to put people out there who can catch the ball. I can't do it in every position, but I'm going to do it as many positions as I can.
You know, Len, one thing I think any manager, Lou Piniella included, hopes for is that your defense is a constant. You understand that your pitching is going to ebb and flow over the course of the season. Your offense is going to have good streaks and bad streaks, but you'd like to believe that your defense is going to show up every ball game, and unfortunately that has not been the case recently.
Well, as Aaron Harang gets ready, let's check out the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Soriano leading off, Terrio Lee, Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup for the first time since he was hit by a pitch on the left wrist on Friday in St. Louis. Kosuke Fukudome back in his normal 5th spot. Soto, Ronnie Cedeno at second base, Mark DeRosa getting the night off. He has struggled offensively on this trip. Felix Pie with that great catch last night, and Big Z batting ninth.
Take a look at the Reds defensively. Adam Dunn in left field, Ryan Friel in center, Ken Griffey Jr. over in right, Edwin Encarnacion at third base, Jeff Keppinger, the fine young shortstop, Brandon Phillips at second base, Joey Votto over at first, Paul Bacco, the left-handed hitting backup catcher, once again doing the catching tonight for the Reds, and he'll be receiving the pitches from Aaron Harang. Mentioned Harang pitched against the Cubs back at Wrigley on the 15th, gave up a 2-run homer to Mark DeRosa, a 3-run bomb to Derek Lee. The only 5 runs the Cubs scored against him, but they made it stand up.
1 ball, no strikes on Alfonso Soriano. We are underway. This is the 6th time Aaron Harang has met up with Carlos Zambrano, and in the first 5 matchups, Harang is 3-1 with a .540, while Z is 0-4 with a 9 earned run average. He's hoping to change that up tonight. A big right-hander coming back, and Soriano fouls it off.
Harang, your basic 4-pitch pitcher, fast curve, slider, change depending on the opposing hitter. There's the big curveball right there in the dirt. Soriano waves through it for the first out of the ball game.
We saw a lot of strikeouts early on from both Johnny Cueto and Ryan Dempster last night.
Well, we talked about it when Alfonso first came back off the disabled list. It's going to take a while till he gets back into the rhythm of the game, seeing live pitching every day, and especially facing a guy like Aaron Harang.
Here's Ryan Terrio. He had 2 hits in the opener, called strike according to Chuck Merriweather, who's working home plate in his 17th season. Bill Welke at first, Chris Cuccione at second. Tim Welke, the crew chief, is at third, and that's dunked into right for a base hit for Terrio. So a man on with 1 out for Derek Lee.
Harang misses his spot from one side of the plate to the other, wanted to go down and in with that fastball, left it out over the plate, and as he's done so many times this year, Ryan Theriot just dunks it out into shallow right for a base hit.
Well, you had Derek Lee, Mike Fontenot, and Ryan Dempster all accept the blame for last night's loss. Derek said the last 2 games were on him. He came up both Sunday night in St. Louis and last night here in big spots and failed to come through. Mike Fontenot said he made a mistake trying to score the Cubs' 4th run in the 9th, down 2. And Ryan Dempster said the pitch I made to Adam Dunn was a mistake. He said that was the ball game. And Lou's message to his club after the ball game was very simple: force the opponent to beat you.
Yeah, that's one of the more frustrating things for a manager and a team for that matter, is when you beat yourself, or at least put yourself in a position where it makes it hard to win a ball game. You can accept physical errors. It's going to happen from time to time. The ball's going to take some funny hops. You may rush your throw a little bit. Physical errors are going to happen, but the mental errors need to be limited.
One and one on Lee. We'll see how Aramis fares tonight. Coming back from the wrist injury, missed the last 3 starts. The kick and the pitch. A fly ball to right for Ken Griffey Jr. 2 outs.
Wind is not usually a big factor here at the ballpark in Cincinnati. The flag's out in left center field, kind of blowing across from right to left. May help balls hit the center, and left field, and perhaps knock balls down, hit to right. Impeccable. I like that.
Another great night. Temperatures in the 70s. And here's Aramis.
In case you didn't see it on Friday against Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals, Ramos Ramirez took that up and in fastball just near the left wrist there. You see him grabbing at that lower forearm area. It goes without saying, a guy that generates the violent energy that Aramis Ramirez puts into a swing at the plate, you better have some healthy wrists, healthy forearms. So Ramirez took an extra day or 2 off and back in the lineup tonight.
Hasn't hit for a high average, but 3 career home runs against Harang. Theriot singled with 1 out. Now there are 2. Slide step of the pitch, big cut, and he fouled it back. Harang is from San Diego, California, and was drafted in the 6th round of the '99 draft by Texas out of San Diego State.
And it seems like every time we face Aaron Harang, and it seems like we see him every series we play the Reds, this guy is one of the best pitchers nobody knows about. He just wins. Going back to the 05 All-Star break, he's won 40 ball games. There's only 8 pitchers who have won more games in that span. And the names are pretty much what you would expect. Brandon Webb, Josh Beckett, Johan Santana, etc., etc., etc. Aaron Harang right there with the best of them.
Big Z on that list too. So 2 of the elite. A 1-ball 2-strike count. Theriot's running. The pitch is a ball. The throw is late. So Ryan's now 8 out of 14 on the year. That's stolen base number 25 for the Cubs. They came in 6th in the league. And meanwhile, a 2-2 count on Ramirez.
Picked a good pitch to run on a slow breaking ball that ended up down. Baco had to rush his throw to second base, and well, we saw the grounds crew put a lot of water on this field before the ball game, and it looked like Theriot got stuck in the mud out there a little bit. Had to readjust that left pants leg before taking his lead off second.
And Harang fakes a throw. And like you said, we see Harang so much, but whenever he matches up against Z, you got to do the tail of the tape. 6'7", 275 versus 6'5", 255. So in this matchup, Carlos actually giving away 2 inches and 20 pounds.
That doesn't happen very often when Big Z takes a hill.
You'd have to say this is a super heavyweight matchup on the hill.
It's that old saying about an immovable object and an irresistible force. We've got both of them here tonight.
Here's the action pitch, the 3-2, and a comebacker base hit. Terrio will score, and the Cubs lead. Nice comeback for Ramirez. His first at bat after missing 3 games, and he gives the Cubs a 1-0 advantage. So that is their first lead of the series.
Nice piece of hitting on a breaking ball down low and away. Ramirez just reaches out, pokes it back up the middle of the field. If Harang were a better fielder, he may have had an opportunity to snag that soft line drive, but once it gets past, Terrio scores easily. Big stolen base right there by the Riot.
Kosuke is 0 for 4 in this series and takes ball 1 outside. Well, Harang knows he can't give up a lot. He has received the 7th worst run support in the major leagues, 2.79. Dunn drifts over and he makes a catch in foul territory. Little fumble there on the exchange. Everybody get along down there. Zambrano will take the hill. When we come back, it's Cubs 1, Reds coming up.
When you're ready for fun, Southwest Airlines has your fare. Fly to lots of fun places nationwide for as low as $59 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Of course Geico sponsors Mike's Race Car because they insure everything race car fans love. RVs, motorcycles, ATVs. Tell you one thing they can insure. Lauren Wallace. Because Lauren Wallace is made of lightning. Those guys are like, hey, where's Lauren? He was just here a minute ago. I'm 100 miles away, son. Ready to strike.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
Hi, Ronnie's phone here. Ronnie's not going to answer because he's a dillweed. See, Ronnie doesn't have AT&T, so he's basically got 0 bars in this dump. So although you've called like 30 times about Motorhead tickets tonight, he's not calling you back.
For the best coverage, switch to AT&T. More bars in more places.
The ace of spades.
Cubs got a run in the top of the first. Now let's check out Dusty Baker's Reds lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Ryan Friel will start it. He's in center. Ken Griffey Jr. batting second. Brandon Phillips is at second, hitting third. Votto, Encarnacion, Dunn in the middle. Keppinger, Baco, the former Cub, and Harang at the bottom.
And here's the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. Soriano, PA, and Fukudome once again across the outfield. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup at third base. He'll be joined by Ryan Terrio on the left side of the infield. Ronnie Cedeno getting the nod at second base tonight. Derek Lee over at first. Giovanni Soto, big home run in the game last night, will be doing the catching for Big Z, Carlos Zambrano. Making his 8th start of the year, looking for his 5th victory, the sparkling 2.11 ERA. Opponents hitting .251 against Carlos.
Friel, Griffey, and Phillips due up. And Friel jumps on the first pitch. Fairly deep, but Kosuke. A couple steps in front of the track, hauling it in. 1 pitch, 1 out. So only 26 pitches to go for Zambrano tonight.
He's on pace to throw 27 total, yeah.
That was Ken Griffey Jr.
You know, certainly the Reds know Carlos as good as any team in the Central Division. They've seen a lot of Big Z over the years, and you have to believe that Dusty Baker would like his hitters to be patient, try to run up a pitch count on Carlos and get him out of there quickly.
Inside on Griffey. He was bidding for number 598 last night, and it was taken away by Felix P.A. on a fantastic leaping grab out in center. That happened in the 5th inning last night. Big numbers for Griffey against Zambrano in the 2-0 pitch. Taken all the way, strike one.
Boy, the fortunate thing about that fly ball to center last night, it was hit so high in the air, it gave Felix P.A. an opportunity to get back to the fence and time his leap perfectly to steal that home run away from Junior.
They were ready to pull out an 8 and remove that 7. The 3-1 lofted into shallow left center, and Soriano won't get there in time. Now our Coors Light freeze can. New addition to the broadcast. No question that Felix took away what would have been a home run. He said that's the best catch he's ever made as a pro. He said he had never gotten that close to the wall, and Felix also added that he had worked on that particular play with Mike Quaddy in spring training, so it paid off. Now Brandon Phillips, runner on with 1 out. And that one missed. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, that's one of those plays that normally you have to use a pitching machine to simulate that deep fly ball at the fence. I mean, it's an awful lot to ask a coach, even as good a coaching staff as Lou has over here, to try to hit fungos just above the outfield wall. So normally you set up a pitching machine out there behind second base and you adjust it until eventually you get that fly ball exactly where you want it. Then you position your outfielders and you say 1, 2, 3, go. You drop the ball in the machine. They retreat to the fence and try to steal away home runs.
Now, having said that, I've seen Mike Quaddy hit some deep fly balls. He can hit them pretty far, and he was out early again today working with Alfonso Soriano in left, and Ronnie Cedeno, who's been getting some extra work out in center. Cedeno getting the start tonight at second. 2-2 on Phillips.
But Big Z got away with one right there. It just goes to illustrate that not every mistake gets hit out of the ballpark. That was a flat hanging slider right in the middle of the strike zone, and Phillips fouled it back.
There he comes on a 2-2. That was a slider as well. And now it's 3-2. Carlos was on the hill when the Cubs beat the Reds 12-3 in Chicago on April 16th. Griffey was kind of running. It was a 3-2 pitch, and he did take off. But he wasn't going full speed. Let's put it that way.
That was a strike him out, throw him out waiting to happen right there. A very late break from first base, and never really got going full speed. Just a couple of steps, got out there in no man's land. Fortunately for him, Phillips fouled it off.
That is a strike, and he threw him out. And that'll end the inning. So Phillips caught looking. Griffey caught stealing. That was his first attempt on the year. 1-0 Cubs.
Pepper and some lunch.
Welcome to Chili's.
Introducing Chili's new Bottomless Express Lunch. Dig into our famous house-made chips and salsa. Enjoy our hot, tasty soups like chicken enchilada and choice of Caesar or house salad with unlimited refills. When you're starved for time, it's the perfect meal. Chili's, pepper and some fun.
I'm almost done.
Can't wait.
Oh yeah, this is happening.
This Friday, go to
She's a wily temptress. They tempt in a wily fashion.
What Happens in Vegas. Rated PG-13.
Looks like someone went shopping again. I got it a couple weeks ago. You like it? I can't believe it's a Chevy.
Yeah, it's an Equinox. I love it. It's got the highest crash test ratings that you can possibly get. You can't beat Chevy's coverage, and it got great reviews on Edmunds.com.
And it matches your outfit.
Get this 08 Equinox for $22,355 after cash back. Plus, current GM owners and lessees get an additional $1,000.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
Giovanni Soto is going to hit for the cycle. He has missed the cycle 3 times this year. He's just needed the triple. Hit a long home run last night. Added a single and a double. And he's doing it both ways.
Boy, continues to improve behind the plate. He's thrown out over 37% of the runners on the season. This guy just continues to get better and better with more experience. Here's that strike him out, throw him out to end the bottom half of the first inning. Plenty of time for Ronnie Cedeno to slap that tag down on Junior.
And as a catcher in that spot, Bob, you're trying to do what? Not put it in the dirt and just get it there in time?
Just make a good throw. I mean, you don't want to slow down too much because that's when you get into some mechanical issues. I mean, he's worked so hard to speed up his delivery to second base. He did exactly the right thing. Unload it, get it down there to the middle infielder, and let them play with it.
Well, he went 3 for 3 in the opener. The home run, the double, the single. He also walked. And he's leading National League rookies at 352. His teammate Kosuke Fukudome not too far behind, came in at 331. There's Mike Quaddy. We were talking about Mike a little earlier. Also instructs the Cubs outfielders. Harang delivers on a 1-1. Got under it. And it'll be Griffey and right for the first out. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Arizona Diamondbacks this Friday. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs keychain. Compliments of Double Mint Gum. Big start for Ronnie Cedeno as a part-time player. Mark DeRosa is struggling on the road trip, so he's getting tonight off. He could also possibly get tomorrow off as Votto came off first base and applied the tag.
Yeah, sometimes it's helpful for a player who is struggling a little bit, going through a slow period of the season, to just have a seat and watch a couple of ball games. Simplify things a little bit. Don't make it so hard, and you can be real sure that Mark DeRosa is anxiously awaiting his return to the lineup. Even though he's been sitting out for a grand total of an inning and 2/3, probably feels like he's been off for a long time.
And you give him so much credit. He hasn't complained one bit. When Soriano was out, he got a lot of the time and left. Then Ramirez gets hit by a pitch. DeRosa gets plugged in at third base. He's the Cubs' everyday second baseman who doesn't play second every day. He plays a lot of other spots. PA sends a foul pop just beyond the dugout. And really, Bob, at all 4 corner spots, and the Cubs have superstars in all 4 corners, but if any of those guys were to go on the disabled list, Mark DeRosa would become the everyday whatever.
Whatever.
Let's hope it doesn't happen again this year. Adam Dunn's going back. He's on the warning track, backpedaling, and he has it right in front of the out-of-town board. And that's the third out. The Cubs go down in order in the second. They lead early on, 1-0.
So fine, she's the best girl that I ever had. Sometimes you're gonna make me feel so bad. Hush, hush, thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush, I need the loving and I'm not to blame now.
Arby's $5 Roundup. Choose from your Arby's favorites like 2 popcorn chicken shakers or 3 beef and cheddars or 4 regular roast beefs for only $5. It's a great deal that'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Let your imagination go wild with help from Menards. Dutch Boy and Crayola create perfect combinations with kids' room paint. It's extra stain-resistant and scrubbable and available in kid-friendly colors from cradle to college. Only $20.88 a gallon. Add style and energy savings to the outside of your home with a chamber door, storm, and screen door. The classic mid-view model is $129. The Regal split view, $169. Both feature the view and vent roll-up screen.
Save big money at Menards.
Bank of America offers the opportunity to see Wrigley Field like you never have before. Take a 90-minute guided tour and check out the press box, locker room, dugouts, and much more. Tours are available on select dates and can be purchased by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or by visiting Cubs.com.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet. Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
Watch the Cubs play the Diamondbacks this coming Saturday. Game time is actually now 2:40. Kids get to the ballpark early. The first 10,000 children 13 and younger will get a Webkins Lilkins Black Bear, compliments of Kimberly Clark.
I got sad news for you. There's no fish left in that river. I caught them all. Boy, just a beautiful afternoon here in Cincinnati.
That's a huge beach over there. It's a good 4 feet wide. Sinker for a strike on Joey Votto. We're in the last of the second, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Votto, then Encarnacion, and done. Tough no decision for Carlos on Thursday against Milwaukee. 6 1/3. He gave up just 1 run. The Brewers were able to come back in the 9th against Kerry Wood. And they won the game 4-3. He developed a blister on his index finger, but said afterward it was no big deal. And he's ready for a 3-2 pitch. Fouled off. We'll do it again.
Well, the good news is the cramping that Carlos has experienced from time to time in that right forearm hopefully is a thing of the past. Changed his diet, changed his day of game routine and his intake of caffeinated products, and has been really, really good.
It's like he's going to go with a fastball away, and that one fouled off again.
We've seen Carlos.
He's following the program.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Well, something had to give. I mean, you couldn't afford to continue to go out there and pitch 4 or 5, maybe 6 innings, and then have your forearm start cramping up and have to come out of the ball game. I mean, Carlos is the horse. He's the guy you hope goes 7, 8, or 9 innings every time out there, takes some load off of that bullpen, and that wasn't the case when he was experiencing that cramping.
Yeah, you expect your #1 pitcher to not only win a lot of ball games, but it should be rare when the ace only gives you 4 or 5 innings. You should be able to count on a minimum of 6 every time out, and ideally 7 or 8, as Joey Votto just worked him for a walk to start the second. And what will always help Carlos work into the 7th or the 8th or sometimes the 9th is to try to keep the walks down, and early on in the year he has done that, and he has been able to complete 7 innings 4 times already in his first 7 starts. Encarnacion hit that one off the end of the bat, a little pop-up that'll be caught by Cedeno for out #1.
As a matter of fact, both these starters in the ball game tonight, Zambrano and Harang, have gone at least 6 innings in every start this year.
I always love looking at the matchup numbers when Adam Dunn faces just about anybody, but in particular a strikeout pitcher like Zambrano. 12 for 51. 6 home runs, 14 walks, 12 strikeouts. So low batting average. They'll check down at third base. Tim Welke said he held up in time. 2 balls, no strikes. Carlos has won his last 3 decisions and has a 1.32 earned run average over his last 4 starts. He is 3rd in the National League in earned run average, and Adam Dunn hits a lot of home runs against the Cubs and a lot at Wrigley Field. Last night he took Ryan Dempster very deep out in right. I thought he was going to hit it completely out of the park.
Well, I lied earlier when I said I caught all the fish in the river. One of them got killed by this Adam Dunn home run. Wow. Into the very back of the bleachers out there in right center field. Thought it had a chance to get out into the river when it left the bat.
The 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. Now where does Kentucky start? Is it in the middle of the Ohio River? Or is it on the actual other side? 6 feet from the bank.
Okay.
Two walks in the inning. So you could literally hit it into another state.
Well, Adam Dunn can do that in just about every ballpark. A good visit here by Giovanni Soto. We've talked at length about it in the early going this season, even going back to the end of the season last year. He does not hesitate to go out to the mound and talk to his pitcher, whether it's the most senior member of the pitching staff or the youngest member of the pitching staff. Carlos starting to show some signs of it, getting away from him a little bit out there, showing a lot of anger between pitches. And Soto just went out there to calm him down a little bit, get him focused on what he needs to do right here. A ground ball, and he's possibly out of this inning.
Here's Jeff Keppinger, the shortstop, continues to fill in for Alex Gonzalez, who's been on the DL with a knee injury.
And this is a guy that can hit into some double plays. 7 on the season already.
Yeah, there are times when you look for a strikeout, but it's hard to do that against Keppinger. What you want is that double play ball. 2-0. Well, another big hit that kind of got lost in the shuffle was the Keppinger broken bat flare 2-run single in the first inning. That made it 3-0. Every run the Reds got last night was unearned. First time since 1985 the Cubs allowed 5 or more runs in a game, all unearned. There's a strike. And it's 2-1. And starters going into last night had given up just 3 unearned runs in 175 innings before Dempster gave up 5 unearned runs. And he took his first loss of the year. Ryan's now 4-1. He has a new group of friends this year. He used to hang out with, Marmol and Wirtz and Howry. Now it's, they got him. They nailed him. Zambrano with a huge pickoff of Joey Votto. 2 down in the inning.
They picked him off badly. I mean, that throw was on the wrong side of the base. Ronnie Cedeno had to grab it, reach across the bag, and apply the tag and block the base with his right knee. Watch Ronnie drop that right knee down in front of the base. Votto never gets back to the bag. Nice pickoff.
Not the first guy he has picked off second base. It was Bill Hall on opening day.
I'm not telling Cub fans anything they don't already know. Carlos, for a big man, is very agile, very quick on his feet. Made eye contact with Ronnie Cedeno and used those quick feet to get himself turned around. The throw was a little bit off, but Cedeno made up for it.
The count is full on Keppinger, so Dunn will be on the move with 2 outs. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Kosuke is over near the barrier. And no room for Fukudome, Cedeno, and Lee.
And we talked about it in last night's ball game. Not a lot of foul ground here at Great American Ballpark, especially once you get down the right and left field lines, very close to the retaining wall, which is one of the many reasons why this is a great hitter's ballpark.
Another 3-2 ground ball to Cedeno. And the inning is over. 2 walks, no runs. Zambrano helping himself with his 9th career pickoff. And it's still 1-0 Cubs.
I see skies of blue.
Some discover it through the wonder of others. Some experience it volunteering their time, while others find it through the expectation of tomorrow. It's wellness. And at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, yours means the world to us. Because when it all comes together, we want to give you the confidence to experience wellness everywhere.
What a wonderful world.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago.
When you need your vehicle repaired, look no further than River City Pipe Vendors. Why? Other than auto body, River City Pipe Vendors can repair anything and everything, from oil changes to transmission and engine overhauls. River City Pipe Vendors is one of the only places that repairs everything. The same technician will always repair your vehicle and will know your vehicle. No one is on commission. River City Pipe Vendors tells it like it is. Trust Clinton's own full-service repair facility. Trust River City Pipe Vendors.
CMT is a company of growth and opportunity. We're expecting to grow by $100 million by the year 2011. And we recently purchased new machinery that utilizes the most up-to-date electronics. CMT is an authorized supplier of mag particle inspection and soon dye-penetrant and ultrasonic testing.
Creative Machining Technologies is currently looking for more skilled machinists located in the East Moline Industrial Park. CMT, manufacturing in the United States for the world.
Hey, Comcast Cable subscribers, Cubs games are now on Comcast Sportsnet on demand. Comcast Digital Cable customers go to Digital Channel $9.99, then look for Comcast Sportsnet, and you can watch Cubs games on video on demand. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Zambrano with a home run. He hit it in his last start, and now is tied with Fergie Jenkins for first on the all-time Cubs home run list among pitchers with 13. This wouldn't be a bad place to set the new record. Very reachable.
Very reachable. It's kind of funny, you know, usually a starting pitcher on the road, you'll look at where your spot falls and what ballpark do I have to pitch in, what lineup do I have to face. I think Carlos says, how do I hit in that park? I like pitching in Cincinnati. I hit well there.
The wind and the 2-1. I think most of his home runs have come against the Reds and the Astros. If you broke down his career numbers, we'll look it up.
And certainly a lot of them have come to the opposite field. His last home run came to left field at Wrigley when he was hitting from the left side of the plate on a breaking ball.
Well, one of his 13 has come off harangue. 4 of his 13 have been against the Reds. He is a career .250 hitter. He has slugged .518 against the Cincinnati Reds. And let's see. He's gone deep twice in this ballpark. He's hit 3 at Minute Maid Park in Houston. 7 at Wrigley Field. The 3-2 pitch is bounced foul past Matt Sinatro.
He looks pretty hitterish tonight, too. Has run a full count here, just fouled off a 3-2 pitch. Looks like he's seeing the ball real well. Just don't swing too hard.
He's 4 for 8, a lifetime .500 hitter at Dolphin Stadium. Line shot right at Griffey. That reminded me of the Darrell Ward pinch hit at bat last night.
Yeah, that was one of those where you just scratch your head and say you can never explain the game of baseball. Jeff Keppinger in the first inning, you mentioned his big base hit to drive home a couple of runs. As you get one more look at Zambrano, just absolutely crushing that ball to right field, right at Junior. Keppinger breaks his bat, hits a little floater that went about 135 feet, dropped for a base hit, 2 runs. Darrell Ward came up and hit a ball as hard as you can possibly hit it, right to the center fielder.
That pitch looked like it was going to hit Soriano. You saw where Baco was set up, almost behind the hitter, and Soriano was so fast in the swing, he pulled it foul. That was headed for his back hip. Ball and 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. We're in the 3rd. The Cubs got a run in the opening inning. We're just waiting for Fonzie to get in one of his hot streaks. We saw it a couple of times last year. You know, he'll drop a 13 for 19 in there with 4 home runs.
Oh, and he will do it again. His strike zone recognition has never been one of his strengths, but he has really expanded his zone since coming back from the disabled list. Probably trying to do a little bit too much too soon. Just take what the pitcher gives you.
Just broke his bat, and a little juggling act by Harangue before throwing on to first.
And that will come. I mean, you spend 2 weeks on the disabled list, 15 days on the disabled list, and the only work you're really getting is facing coaches in live batting practice, but that certainly isn't close to simulating what you're going to see in the major leagues facing a big league pitcher.
I don't think Lou necessarily had something specifically in mind, but he did kind of hint that there could be changes down the road if the Cubs continue to struggle. They've dropped 8 of 11. And in talking about what's going on with his team, he really bottom lined it. He said, the numbers that concern me the most are wins and losses. And because this team is not winning right now, I mean, he's talked about the pitching. Ronnie Cedeno getting in the lineup. They've been trying to find a way to get one of the hottest hitters into the lineup. And he said Ronnie's play will dictate how much I play him. A rough night for Mike Fontenot last night. He has been committed at this point to hitting Soriano in the leadoff spot. But if things continue to go the way they have lately, you know Lou will make some changes. Ontario grounds out, and all of a sudden Harang seems to be getting in a groove. He has sent down 7 in a row. 1-0 Cubs.
I want to ride your bullpen like a rodeo cowboy that spilled the super glue. Major League Baseball 2K8. Rated everyone. I said 2K.
2008. It's not just another year. It's a Danley's year. That's because Danley's Garage World is celebrating 50 years in business, during which Danley's has built over 150,000 custom garages across Chicagoland.
I love my garage. I'd recommend them.
To celebrate, Danley's wants to give you a huge 2-car garage for just $74.99. Plus a free wreck and haul of your old garage or cash equivalent. Call Danley's now. 773-427-2437.
Number 1 second to none. Danley's Garage World. Danley.
Depend on Danley.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
I want to sing my strikeout song till your batters are all gone. Major League Baseball 2K8. Rated everyone. I said 2K.
Tomorrow, the Cubs are back in Cincy as D. Lee and A-Ram take on their former coach Dusty Baker and the Reds in high definition, followed by Lou's Cubs postgame live. Cubs Reds in HD tomorrow at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Hey fans, don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Diamondbacks this Sunday. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 women 14 and older, the first TV analyst 50 or older, will receive a Cubs pink cap, compliments of MasterCard.
Just the first analyst.
Yeah.
Not the first 5 or 6. There's former Cub Paul Bacco off to a strong start at the plate, and he's known more for his defense than his offense. They have 3 catchers on their active roster. David Ross would have been the projected starter going into the season, but he began on the DL with some back problems. They also have Javier Valentin.
Look out.
Look out. A bat goes flying. The barrel went a good 10 to 12 rows up into the seats behind the Reds dugout. And I guess the only good news there, Bob, is that it had a lot of hang time, so the fans generally had some time to react. Yikes.
Ooh, that is scary, man. Fortunately, it looks like everybody's okay down there. And you're right, that bat was in the air for a while. It gave him a chance to get prepared up there and knock it down.
Here's a 1-2. It's a little high. I was going to say Javier Valentin in the 3-catcher mode really is more of a pinch hitter than a catcher. And now time called before the 2-2 pitch.
You know, Valentin has been the most used pinch hitter off Dusty Baker's bench. He's 1 for 10 as a pinch hitter.
Swing and the miss. He struck him out. It was 88 miles an hour, so I don't know if it was a split, slider. Had a lot of late movement.
Yeah, his slider has more of a flat break to it than that downward movement. I have to believe that was the splitter.
Aaron Harang having a career year at the plate. He's 3 for 15, still 079 in his career. The pitching matchups for the weekend when Arizona comes in. Dan Herron against Ted Lilly on Friday. Popped up. And Derek Lee wants it, and he has it. Max Scherzer and Ryan Dempster. Scherzer will make his second major league start. Jamie Moyer got the better of him last night. And then Randy Johnson and Carlos Zambrano on Sunday. How about that one?
Woo.
So the Cubs are not scheduled to face Brandon Webb, nor will they see Micah Owings on the mound. But Micah Owings very likely could pinch hit. He already has a pinch hit home run. And I think they're going with 3 catchers right now. Snyder, Montero, and Hammock.
Yeah, Robbie Hammock, more of a super utility player. He's listed as a catcher, but can play the corner infield and corner outfield positions as well.
Now I'd have to ask Bob Melvin, but does Micah Owings' prowess as a pinch hitter make it easier for you to carry that extra catcher? Theoretically, it could.
I would have to say, yeah. If you've got a pitcher or 2 that you can use as a pinch hitter, as a pinch runner, you can carry that 3rd catcher. I used to love to do that when we had the opportunity with the Diamondbacks. I've talked about it in the past. We had a strong bench. We had some good pinch hitters available in the game, and by carrying 3 catchers, there were several occasions where we would pinch hit for our starting catcher in the 5th inning of a ball game. If we felt that was an opportunity to break the game open, score some runs, we knew we had 2 catchers in reserve, and we'd send one of our best pinch hitters up there early in the ball game to try to break it open.
That's a 2-out walk to Ryan Friel. And Z will have to face Griffey with a man on and 2 outs.
Well, not only do you not like to put runners on base ahead of Ken Griffey Jr., but also it alters the defense. We know the Cubs like to play that exaggerated pull shift on Jr., and with Derek Lee holding the runner on at first base, it leaves a little more hole on that right side than there should be.
The Cubs started the night 18-14, 2.5 back of St. Louis. The Cubs are in 2nd. The Reds are tied for 5th, 8 out at 13-20. They snapped a 5-game losing streak with that 5-3 win in the opener. And the Cardinals won last night. I don't know if it was a bunt play, but I think Pujols was running from second and he just kept going. It was either a ground out or a bunt, and he scored the winning run from second base in the 9th inning. That was at Colorado. Looper and Mark Redmond, the pitching matchup tonight in Denver. Florida leading Milwaukee 3-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Ned Yost sticking by his closer Eric Gagne, who has 9 saves, but I think he's blown 5. At the knees for a strike. 2-1 on Griffey.
And that's not an easy thing for a manager to do, to stick by a struggling closer. It gets more managers fired than probably any other thing. When your closer struggles and you lose ball games that you should win, that stings.
Long look at Soto. Carlos still shaking him off. Now he's ready. Here's the pitch. And Griffey fouled that one off his foot.
I don't think Carlos has that many pitches. It was probably an instance where he agreed with the pitch that Soto called for, but he didn't want to throw it to that particular location. Something pitchers occasionally used to do, where they would shake yes to the sign, no to the location, and then yes again when the catcher would finally give the proper location. Of course, over time, hitters would understand what that meant. Yes, I like that pitch. No, I don't like that location. Yes, I do like that location. And if you're a hitter, that's pretty much a tip-off. You're going to get a fastball.
Friel runs on the 3-2, driven into center, but it holds up for Felix Pie. Carlos lost his command a little bit toward the end of that inning. He was able to get Griffey to end it. Still 1-0 Cubs after 3.
Reach out and press here, and here, and here. Feel how better placement of controls leads to better focus on the road. If not, that's because there's only one place to experience the intuitive design of the RX. Your Lexus dealer, where you can lease the 2009 RX all-wheel drive for $479 a month for 36 months with $35.79 due at signing.
You can't ignore it forever. It's your future. It's real life. Whatever your goals may be, it's important to get real answers from people you know and trust. At Country Insurance and Financial Services, we'll help you feel secure for everything life has coming your way. Country, real answers for real financial security. Because this is real life.
This is our country.
I have the greatest job in the world. I've rounded up cattle, sheep, and grandchildren. I've shown again and again why I'm a best friend and a respected colleague. I'm not a pet. I'm a member of the family. I have not, nor will I ever be, in a dog show. I've never worn a leash, just like my master.
You're out here for a reason. So are we. Tractor Supply Company. The stuff you need out here.
Chicago sports fans are passionate, they're loyal, and they're very knowledgeable. We try to give them everything you need, from highlights to interviews to in-depth features. Sports Night is your one-stop shop for everything that happens in the world of Chicago sports.
The Cubs got a run in the first inning. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup, and he singled home Ryan Theriot. Only 2 base runners for the visitors against Aaron Harang, who faces Derek Lee. Ball 1. Good part of the order with Ramirez and Fukudome to follow. Pittsburgh with an early 3-0 lead against San Francisco. That game at PNC Park. They're now in the top of the 4th. Atlanta leads San Diego 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. Nate McLouth in that Pirates game with his 8th home run. We mentioned Florida leading 3-0 over the Brewers. Mike Jacobs with his 9th.
That San Diego and Atlanta game you talked about, possibly the last time that the big 3 will be together in the same ballpark at the same time. John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux. I'm sure they'll be together on a golf course many, many more times in the future, but you never know.
You know, it's possible all 3 could retire after the season. You never know. As Lee takes a leadoff walk, John Smoltz with a bad arm right now as we check in on the Aflac trivia question. True or false, in Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance 10 years ago today, every Astro in the box score struck out at least once. I had a nice chat with Kerry about that historic performance. Big swing by Ramirez. Woody tied Roger Clemens' major league mark, 20 strikeouts, back on May 6th, 1998. Just an incredible performance. He said he has a couple of items from that day. I said, does it feel like 10 years? He said there are days where it feels like 2 or 3 years. There are other times it feels like 20 years.
I'm sure, but that feeling that Kerry Wood must have had that day out there on the mound. I mean, when we talked to him before a ball game earlier this season and I asked him what happened, he said, I don't know. There are just those occasions where a physically gifted athlete goes out there and the mental part comes together with the physical part, and it makes the game seem very easy. You can throw the ball wherever you want, whenever you want. He talked about how the ball was just coming out of his hands so easily.
If you could just bottle that feeling and take it out there with you every 5th day, you'd win about 32 starts a year.
I said, you look so young. He said, I was. He was 20. And he didn't have any facial hair. He said we couldn't grow any facial hair in the minor leagues at that time.
When you see those occasions where a batter will hit 4 home runs in a game, and you talk to them right afterwards, they won't be able to explain it to you, but the game just seems to slow down. You're moving at 33 RPMs and the rest of the game is going at 78. You see it happen with basketball players that can't miss a shot, quarterbacks that get in the zone and every pass is right on the numbers to their receivers. And Kerry Wood had one of those moments 10 years ago.
It was not a huge crowd at Wrigley Field that day, but that was the end of the smallish crowds when Kerry Wood started. He said he recalls after that place was pretty filled up. That was a magical year for the Cubs, 1998.
Len, I spent the majority of my playing career in San Francisco, and of course Northern California is known for their very esoteric theories and their willingness to step outside the box and look at things from different angles. And we tried a bunch of different things in San Francisco. We had psychologists and sports psychologists and all different kinds of people come in the clubhouse and try to work on things. The one thing that really stuck out in my mind was this one gentleman told us, have you ever been driving down the freeway and all of a sudden you look in your rearview mirror and there's a semi-tractor trailer truck that you just passed and you have no recollection of driving past that truck, yet you safely maneuvered around it, got back into your lane. That's the same state of mind you need to be in to be successful consistently as an athlete. Not thinking about things, just let things kind of enter your consciousness and leave your consciousness without dwelling on them. It's tough to maintain, though. That's the thing. Yeah. You can have it for a while like Kerry Wood did in his game. I'm sure he's had it for short periods of time at other times in his career, but boy, the good athletes that are able to get into that frame of mind more consistently are going to be the guys that have a lot of success.
That's a great analogy, and the Cubs have 2 on as Harang has walked the first 2 of the inning. Fukudome bunts toward third. It's barehanded by Encarnacion. Close play. They got him. It'll be a sacrifice for Fukudome, although that was kind of a 50-50 proposition. He wanted to move the runners up, but he was also trying to bunt for a hit. Boy, can he bunt?
Oh, can he ever? I mean, that took a great play to get him by Encarnacion. He keeps it away from the pitcher. Just a tremendous barehand play and throw all in one motion. Just does get Fukudome by half a step. Yeah, he'll probably never get the sacrifice bunt sign at the plate, but he takes it upon himself to do what we just saw him do right there. Try to bunt for a base hit. At worst, you move the runners up. At best, you have bases loaded.
And the right side of the infield is in and kind of bunched together. Joey Votto is playing way off the line. You have Keppinger, the shortstop, playing way back. And they're going to work him away. Oh, that stung. That left hand, he's really shaking it. Sometimes he loses the grip.
Yeah, we've seen him do that several occasions this year where the bottom hand comes off the bat. He finishes his swing with just the top hand, and he always looks like something is stinging in that left hand. It hasn't apparently bothered him up to this point of the year. We'll have to ask him about it, but once again, the bottom hand comes off. I'm not sure if that's frustration or pain that he's expressing right there.
Well, there's frustration right there as he just struck out. That's a big second out for Aaron Harang.
Good breaking ball, dropped it right on the outside corner where Baco was set up.
And now the Reds are all back with 2 outs and a called strike on Cedeno.
Cedeno this season with 2 outs and runners in scoring position is batting .444, 4 for 9 in these situations.
And he pokes that one into right. Lee is in, trying to get another one. Ramirez slides in. He's saved. Cedeno knocks in 2, and it's 3-zip. That's a big 2-out hit. And a good piece of base running on the throw to the plate. He moved up to second.
Ronnie Cedeno continues to swing the hot bat. That was a nasty pitch, a breaking ball off the corner, low and away. Pokes it out there into right field. I'll tell you, Len, there was a time in his career that you would not run on Ken Griffey Jr., but a very aggressive wave by Mike Quade at third base to send Ramirez on home, and the throw got snagged by that thick infield grass and never did get to the plate.
So a 3-0 lead.
Boy, I'm telling you, Lou has got to find a way to get Ronnie Cedeno in the lineup more often, and he knows that. I'm not saying anything that Lou hasn't expressed. The kid just continues to come up with big hit after big hit after big hit.
And there's no question that the work he's had in center field is another way to possibly get him in there. He could play second, short, third. And they've worked on him in center. Played a little of the outfield in Winter League ball, and also a little in spring training before the Cubs decided to keep him on the infield. But if you can hit and you're a good athlete like Ronnie is, you find a place for him to play defensively. The 0-2. And following up on the Kerry Wood 20 strikeout one-hitter against the Astros 10 years ago today, it's almost hard to believe when you think about all the big crowds at Wrigley Field over the last few years. 15,758. Called strike 3, and that ends the inning. But Ronnie Cedeno with RBIs 17 and 18 as a part-time player this year makes it 3-0.
Okay, Carl? I'm winning, right? Yeah, but the other drivers think Aflac sponsorship's giving you an advantage.
Well, if you're sick and you can't work, Aflac pays cash fast to help keep you in the race.
I know, but they see it a little differently. I taught him that.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get $1,500 cash back, or current GM owners get $3,000 total cash back on a 2008 Buick Lucerne. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
Time to get the answer to our Aflac trivia question as we commemorate the 10th anniversary of Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance. We want to know, true or false, every Astro in the box score had at least one strikeout. It's actually true.
Hey, you strike out 20 in a game, you strike out some guys that weren't even in the box score. Oh my.
Pretty amazing. Shane Reynolds also had a complete game. He gave up 8 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned. He struck out 10. There were 30 strikeouts in that ball game.
Craig Biggio was the offensive star of the game for the Astros. He only struck out once.
Ricky Gutierrez, who would later become a teammate of Kerry Wood, had the only hit for Houston. As Fukudome drifts over toward the line, he's now in foul ground, and he makes the catch, and Brandon Phillips is out. And here was the final out. Oh, there's a little facial hair growing, a little goatee action.
Man. I think that's where they came up with the term deflector shield slider. It looks like it hit something and went the opposite direction. Just filthy.
He's all grown up. One and nothing on Joey Votto. Walked his first time, and then he was picked off at second base by Zambrano. Lifts it high in the air. Soriano went in, now drifts back a few steps. He calls off PA, and he makes a catch. Two down, and it's Edwin Encarnacion. Happy 93rd birthday to John Blasucci. Cub fan for almost 90 years. And he was at Wrigley Field when Babe Ruth called the infamous home run. I guess that would have been in, what, 1932 in the World Series. So happy birthday to John. Also happy birthday wishes to Virginia Mysick, watching back home in Chicago. The 2-1. Fastball strike. A little bit off the plate outside. Boston leading at Detroit 3-0. They're in the fourth. The Yankees won. The Indians nothing. Top of the fourth in the Bronx. That's pulled deep. Home run distance, but foul. The 3-2 pitch. And we'll have a do-over. Pitch count elevated a little bit with the 3 walks tonight. Here's pitch number 71. He broke his bat, and that's a foul ball.
Good battle here between Zambrano and Encarnacion. You know, when you look at a team with Adam Dunn and Ken Griffey Jr. and Brandon Phillips, a lot of home run power, but Edwin Encarnacion is the guy that's leading this Reds team in home runs with 7 going into play tonight.
He also has 1 more walk than he has strikeouts. Past Lee, and Cedeno couldn't pick it up. Well, that is so rare to see. And Derek now with 5 errors. An uncharacteristically slow defensive start to the season for a guy who won his 3rd Gold Glove last year.
Now, sometimes it's a case of not anticipating the ball being hit your direction. Encarnacion will spray the ball around from foul line to foul line, but if he had his choice, he'd rather pull the ball. I bet he hasn't hit too many balls in Derek Lee's direction in the past. And that ball was hit extremely hard, but I'm sure Derek would tell you he should make that play.
And he's able to get that one. It was fair. And they get the 3rd out. Nicely done by Derek Lee. Most guys, as good as he is defensively, they want the next ball hit right at him, and that wasn't right at him, but he made the play. Still 3-0.
If you're fed up with the pump, then meet Chevy's MVPs of MPG. Aveo, HHR, and Cobalt XFE, to name a few. Chevy, 7 models that offer an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. Get this 08 Cobalt starting at $14,385 after cash back, plus current GM owners and lessees get an additional $1,500 purchase cash. Find your Chevy at Chevy Dealer.
Holland & Sons services Geneseo and Northwestern Illinois with 4 store locations. Holland & Sons carries a full line of new and used John Deere commercial and consumer products, skid steers, track loaders, and wheel loaders. We offer professional-grade tractors and mowers for landscapers or property owners, and residential mowers and Gator utility vehicles. We also carry outdoor power equipment like trimmers, blowers, saws, and generators, and back them up with top-notch parts and service. Experience the service the professionals expect at Holland & Sons, your local John Deere dealer.
Hi, I'm John Brenny. Come check out all the new Kawasaki's at Brenny Cycle Works in East Moline.
McDonald's Sports Rise every morning only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work, and by the Toyota Tundra. Visit whytundra.com to find out why the Toyota Tundra is a great way to keep moving forward.
Weather-wise, a great night here in Cincinnati, and the Cubs are happy they're up 3. Aaron Harang was not happy with himself after giving up the 2-run single to Ronnie Cedeno in the 4th inning. This was Harang going into the Reds dugout. Another guy who we've seen show a lot of emotion. Zambrano with a leadoff single here in the 5th.
I think he was probably upset because he actually made a pretty good pitch on Ronnie Cedeno. I think most pitchers will concede when they make a mistake and hang a breaking ball over the heart of the plate. It's supposed to get hit hard. But when you execute exactly the pitch you want to make and the hitter reaches out there and does some damage, that's it's got to be upsetting.
So the pitcher's on base, nobody out. And Soriano with a line shot makes an out. Zambrano dives back, save. He just got in. He looked at Matt Sinatra. He said, safe? Yeah, you're safe, Carlos.
Looked like he was running in quicksand out there at first base. Oh, brother. Soriano hits a topspin line drive. Keppinger goes up the ladder to make a nice play. And not the most picturesque slide I've ever seen, but effective nonetheless.
Well, I worry about that pitching hand.
Oh, man.
The 1-strike pitch, didn't mean to, bounced foul.
The thing about Carlos is not only does he take his pitching very seriously, he takes his hitting seriously, takes his base running seriously, tries to field his position seriously. But you're absolutely right. You see a little strawberry there on the right elbow. I mean, that's something I'm sure Carlos hasn't done often in his career, that freeze a few steps from first base and have to turn around and dive back into the bag.
Line shot, base hit. Well, here's the question for you. Do you want your pitcher to dive back head first and be safe, or go back feet first and be called out? Because if he had gone feet first, he probably would have been out. Look at, he didn't even know. He looked back at Matt Sinatra and said, was I safe?
He's like a big kid out there. He's just having fun rolling in the dirt. Well, I'll tell you, that's a tough one. You know, you want to win ball games, but you also want to see your big boy out there every 5th day. So I think, you know, discretion is the better part of valor there. If it costs you an out or two on the bases to be a little more careful with the ace of your pitching staff, then so be it. I mean, the good thing is most of the time Carlos is a good athlete and he does things properly. That wasn't one of them there. That head first slide back into first base ended up landing on his right hip and taking the brunt of it on his right elbow there, as you see. But for the most part, he's a good athlete and does things properly out there on the field.
The 0-2 on the way to Lee is too high. Now, I don't know how or if it will affect his pitching, but we'll find out in the bottom of the inning. All he's thinking about is getting to the plate. Votto will get the out at second base. Harang covering first. Safe. They tried the 3-6-1. They almost turned it, but Derek was able to beat the relay throw.
Well, that was a lot closer at first base than I thought it was going to be. Votto very deliberate getting that ball to Keppinger, who avoids the sliding runner, and the Cubs may have caught a break right there. Votto with no chance to get back to the bag. He was about halfway between first and second.
Boy, Cubs got a big break. Ooh. He looked like he was out.
The fact that Harang was a little tardy getting over there to first base made that look a lot closer than it really was.
No argument from Dusty Baker, and the inning still alive for Aramis Ramirez.
Well, I'll tell you, if his wrist is bothering him, he's not showing it on his swings. He's really letting it go tonight. That's a good sign.
You see Carlos still checking out his right arm, his hand. Now, what if the pitcher has a cut on his pitching hand? They don't let you put a Band-Aid or anything on the hand.
Well,
I don't know what they would do.
Yeah, I wouldn't speak for the Cubs trainers, but I know in the past that super glue has been used to close cuts on a pitcher's hand, or to seal up a blister so a pitcher could continue. I mean, if they would let you, they'd take that strawberry on his elbow right there and put a great big white Band-Aid on it that looks just like a baseball. Can you imagine Carlos's arm coming forward with a baseball in his hand and a round Band-Aid on his elbow? The hitter wouldn't know what to do. You know, really not, on a cool evening it wouldn't be a problem. You bandage up that strawberry on his right elbow and you put on a pair of long sleeves and he continues to pitch. But it's a very comfortable evening here in Cincinnati, and I'm sure Carlos doesn't want to go that route.
The Cubs have 5 hits. The Reds have 1. And the Cubs are trying to add some more insurance. They already lead 3-0. The pitch. Three and 2. Harang has made 82 pitches, 56 for strikes. Mark O'Neill and Ed Halber, Cubs athletic training staff. As a runner goes, a fly ball to right. Ken Griffey Jr. will make the catch. 2 hits, no runs. We'll see how Z responds after scraping up that pitching arm. He has a 3-0 lead.
Introducing AT&T Advanced TV. Get a wide selection of programming and more HD channels than cable.
Well,
not yet.
Is it time?
Not yet. There it is.
Well, find out how to get a DVR with free installation and $50 cash back on qualifying AT&T Advanced TV plans.
You think anybody saw us?
rocking performance, exceptional control. Destination tires with Unity technology, only from Firestone.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get $1,500 cash back, or current GM owners get $3,000 total cash back on a 2008 Buick Lucerne. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, it's a GMC Sports Update.
Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher with you. The Bears part ways with safety Adam Archuleta. The 7-year vet lost his starting job after 10 games last season. More on that story on Sports Night. Now, remember, Dan Plesac joins me after the game for Cubs Postgame Live. Now let's go back to Len and Bob in Cincinnati.
Gail, here it's 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Carlos Zambrano went into the dugout. Mark O'Neill offered to help out. He's just grabbed his glove, head back out to the mound.
Just waved it off. I had a high school basketball coach that used to always ask, how far is that from your heart? So if Carlos holds his arm out there, it's plenty far away from his heart.
And he has pitched well. He's given up just 1 hit tonight. That was a Ken Griffey Jr. single in the 1st inning. Strike 1 on the number 7 hitter, Jeff Keppinger, who grounded out to second his first time. The next pitch drifts inside.
You see Mark's getting the rubber gloves on, getting ready to provide some treatment, and Big Z says, nah, I got to go to work. I'll catch you later.
Ramirez pops the mitt and then pops it over to Derek Lee.
It's a big inning for Carlos because he ran the bases and he had to head first slide back into first base. We've seen it happen so many times where running the bases will take enough out of that starting pitcher that he loses some effectiveness out there on the mound. Good thing to see that quick first out.
Bounded foul by Paul Bacco, who has been Greg Maddox's personal catcher at a couple of different stops, with Atlanta in 2001 and then with the Cubs in 2004. I have one for you. Which pitcher that you ever caught helped you the most as a hitter? Was there one in particular? I'd have to think catching Greg Maddux might have helped Paul Bacco all around, just thinking about approach at the plate. Was there anybody in particular that you felt you really learned a lot from, maybe your approach as a hitter?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I ended up being Mike Kruko's personal catcher the last couple of years of our respective careers, and I certainly learned a lot about pitching from him. I don't know if it helped me so much at the plate. Maybe I absorbed some things that maybe helped me down the road, but I mean, we saw it all the time with Mad Dog sitting in the dugout talking to hitters during the ball game. And I think it would serve a hitter well if you had a pitcher like a Greg Maddux or Carlos Zambrano, somebody who's at the top of their craft and knows what they're doing out there on the mound. If you're a hitter and can pick their brain and figure out why it is they throw certain pitches in certain situations, it would have to help you a little bit, I think, when you went up there with a bat in your hands.
Yeah, it works both ways. I'm sure pitchers talk to hitters on their own team about what they like to do, and vice versa. Zambrano will apply the tag. Now, was it Bob Gibson who kind of stayed away from some of the hitters on his own team if he ever had to face them later?
I've heard that story before. Yeah, he didn't want to give away too much just in case there was a trade or something and he had to face that guy at some point in the future. He didn't want him to know too much about how he went about his craft. When you got stuff like Bob Gibson, you could tell the hitter what's coming. You still can't hit it.
Aaron Harang feathered that one into center for his 4th hit. What's gotten into him? He's 4 for 17.
I think he's probably as surprised as anybody. This is an accidental base hit here. Steps in the bucket, just sticks the bat out there, catches that ball right off the very end of the bat, and feathers it into center field for a base hit.
He's already halfway to his career high of 8 hits in a single season. In that particular year, 06, he was 8 for 74. Ooh. I mean, Aaron Harang's career high in batting average is 108. He's only hit above 100 once in his career.
They've just been pitching him really, really tough. Hitting in tough luck a lot.
He has walked twice and struck out 156 times. Ryan Friel strikes out. That's number 3 for Zambrano, and he is pitching a shutout through 5. It's 3-0.
What do you think of Mike Wallace and the Geico Toyota?
Whatever. He's out there selling car insurance. I'm out there to win.
Isn't he your cousin?
I didn't say I wouldn't go fishing with the man. All I'm saying is, he comes near me, I'll put him in the wall.
You don't even race in the series.
Listen, go-kart track, grocery store, those remote-control boats. When it comes to Mike Wallace, the story ends with me putting him in the wall.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Baseball fans and Comcast subscribers, Cubs and Sox games are now available on Comcast Sportsnet On Demand. Don't miss a second of your favorite team's games. Comcast cable subscribers just go to digital channel 999 and watch Cubs and Sox games on demand.
The Reebok Hex Ride running shoe. Extreme comfort and cushioning. Perfect for the off-season.
There is no off-season. I'm with you, Matt. Running keeps me strong.
Got that, Tori. It builds my speed.
Like you need more speed, Chad. It will to break my records.
Hey guys, we all have our reasons.
Well, sure, Stace.
To be a better dancer.
Like me.
It's your move, Matt.
Matt, you might want to stick to passing.
Yeah.
The Reebok Hex Ride, available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Get Chicago Sports News Nightly on Land Rover Sports Night. Coming up tonight after Cubs postgame live, we'll revisit Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance. It's the 10th anniversary tonight. Plus, we'll hear from Kenny Williams. Join Mark and Pat for Land Rover Sports Night tonight after Cubs postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. It's 3-zip Cubs. And the 0-1 pitch to Kosuke. Breaking ball missed.
Well, they had to tie him down to the bench to do it, but finally Mark O'Neill able to get a hold of that right arm of Carlos Zambrano and do a little cleaning up there. Certainly didn't affect his pitching at all there in that bottom half of the 5th inning.
3-1 on Fukudome. Here's the pitch. Outside corner strike. The White Sox with 2 off Nick Blackburn in the first. They lead the Twins 2-0 in the second. Been pretty quiet around the White Sox last few days. Not.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Always something. foul by Kosuke. The White Sox have lost 6 in a row. The Twins right now the only team in the American League Central that's over 500. They're 16-14. Still working on that right elbow. Ground ball pulled to Joey Votto. He will underhand to Harang. And by the way, Bob, and you know, we don't hear from Mark O'Neill like we used to publicly because there's some new confidentiality restrictions that went into effect last year. But Mark and Ed do such a fantastic job. The entire Cubs training staff, the medical group as well. Dr. Grislow, Dr. Adams, Cubs strength and conditioning coordinator Tim Buss, keeping everybody in tip-top shape as Soto sends it high, and it will be caught by Friel in center.
Yeah, you talk about those guys, Len, and they probably put in as long a day as anybody. They get to the ballpark extremely early every day to make sure everything's ready to go. The players who are either coming back from injuries or getting treatments for some nagging little injuries get to the ballpark early to take care of business, and then as you get closer and closer to game time, they become even more busy getting the starting pitcher ready, getting all the players taped up and ready to go. Ideally, the 2.5 or 3.5 hours of the ball game, they can just kind of sit and watch and observe. That's not the case tonight. They're busy working on Carlos, and then after the game they get extremely busy treating all the various injuries, putting ice bags on the pitchers and knees and elbows and backs. They put in a long day of work.
The 1-1 to Cedeno, swing and a miss. Ronnie with a big 2-run single in the 4th inning.
I'll tell you, and a good training staff can win you some ball games over the course of the season. Get guys back on the field to play a lot quicker than maybe they would normally get back.
Strike 3, and that's the inning. We've played 5.5 from Cincinnati. The Cubs lead the Reds 3-0.
Hurry in now for Toyota's banner sales event with great deals on a huge selection of Toyotas. Like the stylish Camry, the best-selling car in America. Or the all-new Corolla, a lot of car for the money with great fuel efficiency. Or see the larger-than-life Toyota Tundra, Motor Trend's 2008 Truck of the Year. And check out the all-new Sequoia Limited with seating for 8 passengers. The banner sales event ends soon, so hurry to your Toyota dealer today.
Tomorrow, the Cubs are back in Cincy as D. Lee and A-Ram take on their former coach Dusty Baker and the Reds in high definition, followed by Moe's Cubs postgame live. Cubs Reds in HD tomorrow at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans bet.
If you need to tow it, Quad City Spring has it. Quad City Spring is the area's suspension, spring, truck accessory, and towing experts. From goosenecks and fifth wheels to every kind of hitch imaginable, including Blue Ox base plates and tow bars, strong as an ox. And Quad City Spring installs and services everything they sell. So tow it right. Get your ride to Quad City Spring. Quad City Spring, 34th Street at River Drive in Moline.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
Chicago Tribune Live, weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Watch the Cubs take on the Padres Tuesday, May 13th at 7:05. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive limited edition Alfonso Soriano bobblehead doll, compliments of Visit Vegas. Now, I don't know the specific rules, but is he allowed to have one sleeve on there? I know they have that sleeve that you can literally pull. It's just a sleeve. It's not an actual shirt. But they're going to let him wear it.
I'm not sure exactly what the rule is concerning that. I would think that it's probably not according to the letter of the rule, but you know, this could be one of those things. If Dusty Baker and his staff don't argue it, they'll let him continue to pitch with that one sleeve on.
I'll tell you, Ken Griffey Jr. just threaded a needle because Ronnie Cedeno was playing pretty deep out in the grass. In fact, he hit it over Cedeno and in front of Kosuke in right.
There's a rule in the book that says a pitcher has to use a glove that's all one color, and there have been times in the past when the pitcher's gone out there with a glove that had natural leather color in the palm of the glove and black leather on the back of the glove, or the webbing was a different color than the rest of the glove, and as long as the opposing manager doesn't complain, the umpire's not going to make him take it off.
Going to be a tough turn here, and he didn't get any, and that, I'll tell you what, we were talking off the air before the game about the play last night. Mike Fontenot committed an error as he seemed to be trying to rush a double play attempt, and it really cost the Cubs, and it looks like Ronnie Cedeno tried the same thing here. You just have to get an out.
And know your runners. I mean, Brandon Phillips is one of the better runners. Terrio tried to stretch out there. Looked like he almost was able to keep his toe on the bag.
Especially in a 3-0 lead. You don't have to get a double play. You have to get an out.
Yep.
So that'll be an error on Ronnie. The Cubs have committed 2 tonight.
You know, he'll be credited with a physical error on that play because his throw pulled Terrio off the bag. But in my eyes, that's more of a mental error on Ronnie's part. As you said, you got to make sure to get an out when your team is ahead in the middle or late in the ball game.
And a tough hitter at the plate, Joey Votto. And then the guy you mentioned earlier, Edwin Encarnacion, with 7 home runs. Votto's done a nice job with runners in scoring position. A single and an error, and now a 1-1 pitch. A fly ball sending PA over into left center. Soriano, however, will make the catch, and the runners will stay at their respective bases. Here's Encarnacion.
We'd like to end this inning right here with a double play ground ball and keep Adam Dunn in the on deck circle and let him lead off the next inning.
Well, the Reds made the Cubs pay last night for their 2 errors. One of the big hits was a Dunn 2-run homer. And it's not just giving the opposition another chance. It also cranks up that pitch count, which right now is at 98 and counting. That's a play that could possibly cost your starting pitcher a full inning of work tonight, depending on how the 6th plays out. The kick and the 1-2. How about that double play ball? 6-4-3. So they get out of it as Zambrano dials up the double play. Cedeno off the hook. It's still 3-0.
When you're ready for fun, Southwest Airlines has your fare. Fly to lots of fun places nationwide for as low as $59 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Make your yard look the best in the block with help from Menards. Get that great-looking lawn with Menards Premium Weed and Feed. It fertilizes your grass and stops weeds. A 17-pound bag is $7.99. Keep your trees and shrubs protected all year long with Bayer Concentrate Tree and Shrub Insect Control. It kills insects and prevents new infestations for up to 12 months. 3 pounds of granules are only $21.99. And easy-to-mix quart is only $16.99. Everything you need for the perfect lawn at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Imagine changing a child's life with something as simple as an oil change. Get the Midas Touch Maintenance Package by June 28th, and Midas will donate $5 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Thanks, everybody.
After the game, stay tuned for Lowe's Cubs Post-Game Live. Analysis with Dan Plesac. Highlights, press conferences, and interviews from the stadium. Lowe's Cubs Post-Game Live. After the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
The Chicago sports fan knows when they sit down to watch Sports Night, whether it be the 30 or the 60-minute show, you're going to get everything you need in Chicago sports, and that's where, this place is perfect.
Felix PA bunts, and it gets away from Aaron Harang, and PA is aboard. It's a base hit. A bunt single for PA as we start the 7th.
Well, that's good to see. With his speed, Felix PA ought to bunt at least once a ball game. Aaron Harang gets to it in good shape, just kicks it out of his own glove right there. When you got that kind of speed, you don't have to put down a perfect bunt. It puts so much pressure on the defense to make a perfect play to get you, and that time Harang not able to make the perfect play. Do you bunt?
I think he swings away. He's had 2 really good swings. But
he's showing bunt early.
Now that I say that, Bob, after what happened the last time he got on base, maybe it's best he just gives himself up here.
Well, just because he's showing bunt on the first pitch doesn't necessarily mean he's going to bunt the entire at bat. He show bunt on the first pitch. Now it would be a very easy thing to do to let him swing away. You had Votto charging hard from first, Encarnacion charging hard from third. The 2 middle infielders were breaking to cover their respective bases. All kinds of holes in that infield. Half-hearted attempt there by Zambrano to put the bunt down. All right, now swing away.
One ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals with a run in the first at Colorado. It's 1-0. Inside. Houston leads Washington 2-1. They're in the 3rd inning. The Astros are batting. Cubs got a run in the first on a Ramirez RBI single, and then Ronnie Cedeno knocked in 2 in the 4th inning. Boston now leading 5-0 at Detroit in the last of the 7th. Manny Ramirez is 3 for 4 with a home run. Cold foul. Chipper Jones with a home run for the Braves, who lead 5-1 over San Diego in the top of the 6th. What a year Chipper Jones has had. He's only hitting .425.
Wow.
With now 10 home runs. he keeps this up, he might win the MVP. Won it back in 1999.
And Rafael Furcal second in the National League at 366 to Chipper Jones 425.
Swing and a miss. And Zambrano strikes out.
We'll see if Felix Piet looks to steal a base here at some point in the sequence. With Zambrano at the plate, especially the first couple pitches when he was trying to sacrifice bunt. Obviously, Lou is willing to give up an out to advance that runner into scoring position. But now with one out in the inning, see if Felix tries to pick a pitch to steal a base here. And this is when you can afford to be a little more aggressive on the bases. A 3-run lead in the game. Your starting pitcher appears to be on top of his game tonight.
Pulled foul just outside of the bag at third. Ken Griffey Jr. with a big catch last night, robbing Soriano of at least a double. Leaping grab out near the wall and right. Next one from Harang, base hit to left. And it's Ryan Theriot, who already has 2 hits.
Fastball down and in. Soriano with that top spin line drive into left field just in front of Adam Dunn. You're seeing better swings with each successive at bat. We saw the first at bat of this ball game where he flailed away at pitches in the dirt from Aaron Harang. And each at bat he's starting to get a little closer and a little closer, a little more selective. I think that's the biggest thing for Soriano, is just getting back into his own strike zone, which is a huge strike zone to begin with, but swing at pitches you can handle.
Pitching coach Dick Pole out to chat with the Reds battery. Aaron Harang has now thrown 108 pitches. He continues to get no run support. Reds averaging under 3 runs when he's been on the mound this year, and they haven't scored at all tonight. Here's the pitch to Theriot, a fly ball. This will be no problem for Griffey. PA tagging at second base, and he'll scoot to third. And it brings up Derek Lee.
Lazy fly ball to right field, sending Felix Piet back to the bag at second. Uses his speed to advance easily on to third without a throw from Ken Griffey Jr. in right field.
First and third. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Still some pretty good heat on the Harang fastball. As a sign from his catcher Baco. Ball set up toward the outside part of the plate, and he hit the target. 0-2.
It almost looked like Harang understands that this may be his last inning of work. Those are 2 of the better fastballs he's thrown in this game. The last 2 at 93 and 94 miles an hour.
The 0-2 pitch, check swing, no swing. Orang set at the belt. And his 1-2 pitch. Outside on a fastball, 2-2. Orang turns 30 on Friday. He might be looking at his 5th loss, even though he has an ERA that's just above 3. Swing and a miss. The Cubs lead 2. They will stretch here in Cincinnati. It's 3-0 Cubs.
If you're fed up with the pump, then meet Chevy's MVPs of MPG. Aveo, HHR, and Cobalt XFE, to name a few. Chevy, 7 models that offer an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. Get this 08 Cobalt starting at $14,385 after cash back, plus current GM owners and lessees get an additional $1,500 purchase cash. Find your Chevy at ChevyDealer.com.
Plan your next corporate or social function in one of Wrigley Field's private party accommodations. Wrigley Field offers a variety of private catered opportunities to host and impress your group. The Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments, has 4 convenient rental plans to fit all budgets and needs. For larger parties of 75 to 100, the Batter's Eye, located in the center field Bud Light bleachers, provides a unique view of the game. All private party accommodations provide generous food and beverage packages as well as VIP parking. Call 773-404-CUBS or visit Cubs.com.
The best damn sports show, period. Sports Television's nightly party. Tonight on Comcast Sportsnet.
Now tell me if you can actually read that autograph. It does say Derek Lee. The Cubs play the Padres Wednesday, May 14th at 7:05. The first 20,000 fans will get a scratch and win card. 500 random winners will receive that autographed Derek Lee baseball, compliments of Gatorade. Fans are encouraged to hold on to those cards for second chance drawings throughout the game. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com. And on cue, Derek will step on first. Adam Dunn is out.
That's why I like those guys that put their number underneath their signature. Derek had a little number 25 there after his signature. It helps identify the autograph.
So Carlos is sleeveless again. Had the sleeve on his right arm for just the bottom of the 6th. Scraped up his right elbow back in the 5th.
It'd be funny if he came out there for this inning with the sleeve on his left arm, just to see if anybody's paying attention.
Oh yeah. Well, 4 pitches, 2 outs.
Well, this is just what the doctor ordered. Carlos up over the 100 pitch mark. Now that last delivery was 103 on the evening. Red's doing him a huge favor here, swinging at some early pitches and making quick outs. No sign of any activity in that Cubs bullpen. Guys not even stirring around. Usually at this point of the game, you see some guys starting to stretch a little bit, maybe take their jacket off and stretch their legs. It's a very quiet evening in the bullpen. Hopefully it'll stay that way.
Paul Bacco with a pop fly out to left. think I counted 6 pitches in the 7th for Big Z. Cubs 3, Reds nothing.
What happens in Vegas?
Greatest day of my life!
The first big comedy of the summer.
This is my boss.
I'm Richard Banger. Your name is Dick Banger. Dick Banger? You have just provided us with jokes for the whole weekend.
What happens in Vegas? Rated PG-13. Friday.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get a low-mileage lease on the 2008 GMC Acadia for around $349 a month. Call for residency restrictions and details. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
When it comes to planning for the future, trust Country Insurance and Financial Services to keep you moving in the right direction. With down-to-earth, straightforward advice, Country Insurance and Financial Services is always there to keep you on the right path. Country, real answers for real financial security. For your family, for you, for a lifetime.
This is our country.
Pepper and some lunch.
Welcome to Chili's.
Introducing Chili's new Bottomless Express Lunch. Dig into our famous house-made chips and salsa. Enjoy our hot, tasty soups like chicken enchilada and choice of Caesar or house salad. With unlimited refills. When you're starved for time, it's the perfect meal. Chili's, pepper and some fun.
And now the sharp Aquas detail of the game. The Reds putting 2 on walks with 1 out in the 2nd inning, but Joey Votto got picked off by Zambrano. That was a big play early on.
Great play by Carlos. Even greater play by Ronnie Cedeno to take that wide throw, drop a knee down in front of second base to block the bag and apply the tag. Nicely done.
Here's right-hander Jared Burton. Aaron Harang with a quality start, 3 runs in 7 innings. But he would be on the hook for the defeat. And the Cubs will have Ramirez, Fukudome, and Soto. And Z with 105 pitches through 7. I think he might get another inning tonight. As you said, there was no action, and there currently isn't any stirring down in the Cubs pen.
Could make it a tough decision if the Cubs get down to Zambrano's spot in the lineup this inning with an opportunity to score some runs, and may decide to go to the bench for a pinch hitter at that point. But barring anything like that, I think Big Z is going to go out for at least 1 more inning. If he has another quick one like he did there in the 7th, he might be able to finish this game.
Votto will flip to Burton to retire Ramirez.
Cubs don't have a complete game yet this season.
I don't even know if they've had a starter go beyond 7.
There's only been 5 complete games in the National League total this season. Cardinals have 1, the Braves have 1, San Diego has 1, the Brewers, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't see a starter having gone into the 8th all year. It's 2-1 on Kosuke.
Three very familiar faces to Cub fans: skipper Dusty Baker, Chris Spire, the bench coach, Dick Pole, the pitching coach, in the background.
Two on Fukudome. Soto on deck trying to preserve his hitting streak. He came in at 7 straight. And Kosuke sent back to the dugout empty-handed. 2 down.
Backdoor slider from Burton started off the plate away, may have gotten back to the outside corner. Boy, for a hitter with a real good eye for the strike zone, that's an effective pitch to use, one that starts out of the zone and ends up in the strike zone, especially away.
During this hitting streak, Soto has had at least 1 extra base hit in every game. And remember, he came off a brutal offensive weekend in Washington. As we check in on the Menards Big Lumber stat, he struck out 8 times in that series in Washington. Came back strong, and the streak is now at 8.
I'll tell you, Len, the thing for me about Giovanni Soto is rarely does he miss a mistake. That was a breaking ball about belt high on the outside part of the plate. He lined it right back up the middle of the field. Now, occasionally that pitcher will make nasty pitches on the corners, up, down, in, out. He struggles with those like all hitters do. But when the pitcher makes a mistake to Soto, he hits the ball hard. Then you may tell yourself, well, that's what a hitter's supposed to do. But that's what separates the good hitters from the not so good hitters. Pitchers are always going to make mistakes. It's what the hitter does with those mistakes. Well, it turns you into a good hitter.
Well, the Cardinals continue to play solid baseball. They're in the bottom of the 2nd at Colorado, leading 4-0. Ludwig with an RBI single in the 1st. Is Turris, Barton, and Kennedy all with RBIs in the 2nd. That all coming against left-hander Mark Redmond. Braden Looper on the mound for the Cardinals tonight. Cubs came in 2.5 out. A 2-1 pitch. Cedeno pulls it. Encarnacion gets an out at second base. That's number 3 in the 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Zambrano back to the mound, 3-0.
Life is high school with money. What are the cool kids wearing? Where are the cool kids living? What are the cool kids driving? And if you were never really into all that, there's only one thing to do. Graduate.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer.
There's no limit to the career opportunities with an apprenticeship program through the Quad City Electrical Training Center. From jobs that take you outside to desk jobs and owning your own business. You choose your future when you get wired.
I've done a little everything in my career, from working on large hospitals to media projects, even some residential wiring. Today, electricians can specialize in the type of work that they want to do.
Get wired.
You can stop searching for that perfect family activity. Ted's Boatorama has your solution. A new runabout boat from Tahoe. A new Tahoe boat is something your entire family can enjoy, and Ted's Boatorama has the perfect one for you. Great for fishing, cruising, or just catching some sun, the Tahoe offers your family the ultimate boating experience. Go ahead, gather your family and enjoy a summer of skiing, sunning, and relaxing in a new Tahoe.
Ted's Boatorama, boat Boatorama, Ted's Boatorama, boat Boatorama.
From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, it's a Cadillac Sports Update.
Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher with you. The White Sox offensive woes may be over. They scored 2 runs in the 1st inning tonight against the Twins, and right now they have a 3-1 lead on Minnesota in the bottom of the 4th. Remember, Dan Plesac joins me after the game for Cubs Postgame Live. Now let's go back to Len and Bob in Cincinnati.
All right, Gail, if Carlos Zambrano can record an out here in the 8th inning, it will have been the longest outing by a Cubs starter season. He's facing a pinch hitter, Scott Hatteberg, 3-0. Zambrano's been in control throughout. Worked around a couple of walks in the second by picking off Joey Votto. And then he also helped out his defense as Ronnie Cedeno made an error in the 6th inning. The Reds put the first 2 on, but Z got a 6-4-3 double play ball to get out of that inning. 2-1 on Hatteberg. A fly ball to left. And Soriano with that trademark hop. One down, it's back to the top, and Ryan Friel. He's reached once on a walk in the 3rd. Sharply hit, but right at Ronnie Cedeno. He tripped a little bit, but had plenty of time. Speaking of trademarks, Ronnie likes to go down on one knee over there at second base when he has a lot of time.
Yeah, you've got that luxury at second base, especially on a hard hit ball. It's such a short throw. Whoops. Of course, at shortstop, you don't have that luxury. You have to field that ball while your feet are moving. Get your momentum going toward that bag over there at first. Make a strong, accurate throw. At second base, you can be a little more deliberate. Of course, not where he's playing right now.
A little longer throw. High fly ball. Felix Pie out in left center. And he makes the catch. Carlos getting stronger here. Might be done after 8. It's 3-0 as we go to the 9th.
Touch here. Can't feel the immediate response as you paddle shift your way through the 6 speeds? That's because there's only one place to experience the race-inspired IS. Your Lexus dealer. Where you can lease the 2008 IS 250 all-wheel drive for $369 a month for 36 months with $34.69 due at signing.
Kelly, it's Daddy. Boop. Hey, Pumpkin, it's Dad's phone. He can't answer right now because he doesn't have AT&T, which means he gets 0 bars up here on this ridge. So, that text message about you spending the night at Steffi's, Johnny Knocker here won't get that. And come Monday, you're going to be the girl with a crazy father who no one wants to date. Kelly! Sorry, Pumpkin.
For the best coverage, switch to AT&T. More bars in more places.
Kelly Moore!
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
After the game, stick around for Lowe's Cubs post-game live. Get highlights of all the action and analysis from Dan Plesac. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs post-game live immediately following our broadcast right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Well, Big Z was trying to talk Lou Piniella and Larry Rothschild into letting him go for the complete game. But right at the edge with 113 pitches, feeling good about his performance, and he's going to be done. What do you think? Right decision?
I think so. 8 innings of 3 hits, shutout baseball, and You got to look at the big picture. We talk about that all the time. It's a long season. You're going to need contributions from everybody, including those guys down in the bullpen. I believe it's Kerry Wood that's throwing down there. At least it looks like Kerry Wood's legs. That's all we can see in that bullpen down the right field line. But
Jeremy Affeldt starting the ninth on the mound for Cincinnati. By the way, Zambrano was 7 career complete games. He had 1 last year, none in 2006. And was able to get through 8 tonight and was brilliant.
And I don't think there's any doubt Carlos still has some more gas left in the tank, but hey, he's going to take that ball about 24 more times this year, and you want to make sure he's got gas in the tank for all of those.
Well, and the price of gas has gone up considerably.
You
so
got
might
that
as
right.
well save it.
You have got that right. And Carlos doesn't run on alternative fuel. He's probably just upset he's going to lose an at bat. Reed Johnson has moved out into the on deck circle.
The southpaw with a 2-1 pitch. A fly ball. Adam Dunn cruising over. Bangs into the side wall. And did not make the catch. It landed foul.
Well, when Adam Dunn runs into that restraining wall, it pushes it back a couple of inches. There's a little more foul territory now than there was before that play. That is a big boy.
Popped down to the mid of Baco and almost hit Felix. 3-2.
Take another look. Whoa, chin music, head high fastball off the plate inside.
(3-2) broken bat and a little squibber out to Phillips. It's Reed Johnson, the pinch hitter. Just to show you how fickle an earned run average can be for a relief pitcher. Affeldt on Saturday in Atlanta gave up his first runs since April 15th, and his ERA shot up from 138 to 346. 8 straight scoreless appearances prior to Saturday, but he gave up 3 runs.
And you have to pitch a lot of innings to make up for that, especially a guy who is occasionally used as a left-handed specialist, maybe getting it 1 out at a time. It's going to take a long while to whittle that ERA back down. Reed Johnson 2 for 5 on the season as a pinch hitter.
Orang went 7. He surrendered 3 runs. Burton with a scoreless 8th gave up a hit, no runs. And now it's Affeldt in the 9th. How about Wednesday brunch with us tomorrow afternoon here on Comcast Sportsnet, or tomorrow morning. 11:35 for the first pitch. We'll be on the air from Cincinnati at 11:30 a.m. And John Lieber's back in the starting rotation for the first time as a Cub since 2002. He'll face Edinson Volquez.
What are we serving for brunch tomorrow? As soon as you said that, my mouth started to water.
Yeah. Maybe an omelet or 2.
Well, with Volquez pitching, you have to have some cheese in there somewhere because he throws some cheese. That's a good fastball.
I prefer cheddar. So it's brunch. You have to have a lunch item. How about shrimp cocktail? Does that work for you?
I don't know if there's any shrimp in that river out there. Oh, there's Cincinnati chili just down the street, though.
Well, it might be a little too early for the chili.
Never too early for Cincinnati chili.
The producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is Bob Albrecht. Our director, Dave Turner. Tamara Anderson is our associate producer. Our stage manager in the booth, Audrey Whitley. Chuck Jackson is our technical director. The executive producer of Comcast Sportsnet is Jim Corno Jr. Great work by our entire crew here in Cincinnati. The last time we saw them, many were in wearing plastic and raincoats.
Goggles.
As the champagne was flowing in the Cubs clubhouse. Notice they have new carpeting in there. I'm sure there's a reason for that. As Soriano hooks it into the corner. Dunn can't get it. One hops a wall. And it's a double for Alfonso.
Adam Dunn has taken his share of abuse here in Cincinnati for his defensive work out there in left field. I don't know if there's much he could do about this when that ball was hooking from the moment it left Soriano's bat. Long run for Dunn. He gets to the vicinity but just can't quite get to it. It drops for a Soriano double.
And Dusty's going to make a change. It's a Heineken call to the pen. And coming in, Mike Lincoln. When we
When you're ready for fun, Southwest Airlines has your fare. Fly to lots of fun places nationwide for as low as $59 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
The Chicago Cubs strongly encourage the use of public transportation. The CTA offers a variety of options, including the Red Line, which stops right at Wrigley Field at the Edison station. If you must drive, try the remote parking operation at DeVry University, located near the Edison and Rockwell intersection. The remote lot offers parking and an express bus for just $6. For more details, call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000 or visit Cubs.com.
Feldco's annual door sale opens up beautiful new possibilities. But hurry, offer ends May 31st.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Now the Danley's Cubs upcoming schedule. We mentioned the 11:30 a.m. Central Time start tomorrow. An off day on Thursday, and then the Diamondbacks are in. That's a long homestand coming up for the Cubs. The numbers on right-hander Mike Lincoln. He pitched a 1-2-3 7th last night. He comes in with 2 outs, a runner in scoring position, and high ball 1 on Ryan Theriot. That upcoming homestand will cover 10 games. 3 with Arizona, 4 against the Padres, and then 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We haven't seen the Pirates in a long time. What, about 10 days? The Cubs will play the Pirates 12 times before the end of May. And you know what? That's not a bad thing considering they're 6-0 against the Pirates. A 1-1 pitch. Foul tip, strike 2. Happy birthday to Bart Sharkey, our Comcast Sportsnet scorebox operator. Soriano at second. The kick and the pitch by Lincoln. Went with a breaking ball and buried it in the dirt.
You look at that homestand coming up. Of course, the Diamondbacks are playing extremely well in the early going. They have 21 victories, tied with St. Louis. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Southern California, Northern Hemisphere, all that other stuff.
Definitely a plus.
I love this car. I want to keep it. I had so much fun driving it.
There you go.
Drive an Escape with 0 for 60 or choose 2,000 cash back. Visit a Ford store or go to ChicagoFordDealers.com and drive one.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, even if you lose your phone, we can save all your contacts. You save them. Mm-hmm. You're like a hero. Well, we know how important it is to keep in touch. And you're modest too. Well, you know, I'm just doing my job. Just doing my job. That's hero talk.
Get My Contacts Backup and see why U.S. Cellular is wireless, where you matter most.
Time now for the Nissan drive of the game. The Cubs tonight with a lot of singles. Their only extra base hit came in the ninth, but the 2-run single by Ronnie Cedeno back in the fourth made it 3-0. And Kerry Wood will try to pick up his 5th save in 8 tries. I think the big key is that he doesn't hit Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't put the leadoff man on here. He's got tough duty ahead of him with Phillips, Votto, Encarnacion, and possibly Dunn in this inning, but don't make it any harder than it has to be.
PA has it.
Tell you, these Reds offensively tonight must have dinner reservations. A lot of early attacks in the sequence. Zambrano had a couple of very easy innings at the end of his outing. Reds really did him a favor, and now Kerry Wood with 1 pitch, 1 out.
And you're right. The lowest pitch innings bunted by Votto, and he'll be on, and all he's trying to do is get on base, not trying to hit a home run. He knows with his team down 3 to pile up some runners, so that's a smart maneuver with Ramirez playing back. The lowest pitch innings for Zambrano with the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. He threw 24 pitches in his final 3 innings.
See, Ramirez doesn't even come into your picture until that ball had nearly stopped rolling. He was playing deep and over toward the hole. Encarnacion obliges to end that 6th inning with a ground ball double play. See if he can end the game with one right here.
Swing and a miss. He waved at that slider. Now there's a lot of incentive to get Encarnacion out with Adam Dunn on deck. The kick and the pitch. Good block by Soto, keeping that double play in order. A ball and 2 strikes. The next pitch popped up behind home plate, and no play for Gio. Is the win, but Cubs also wouldn't mind picking up their 2nd shutout victory of the year.
.95 on that fastball from Kerry Wood. Tried to elevate it a little bit, get the swinging strike, and Encarnacion just does stay alive.
Carlos was involved in the only shutout to date. On April 26th, the 7-0 pasting of the Washington Nationals. Another 1-2, busted him inside. 2-2.
Talk about it all the time. Usually after that fastball inside off the plate, especially in a 2-strike count, that slider low and away.
Got him.
For, yeah.
That was nasty.
Actually a front door slider that time. I think Woody wanted to throw it down and away. He left it on the inside part of the plate. You see where Soto sets up. Pitch is back on the inside part. The fact that Gio has to reach across the plate to catch that pitch, it made it look like it was out of the strike zone, but that ball caught plenty of plate.
So it's Wood versus Dunn. And Votto just took second. No steal. And Soto's going to head out. The Cubs put on the big shift against Dunn. I think Votto could just walk to third base if he wanted to. Cubs are not concerned about him at all.
Yeah, really right now the guy the Cubs are most concerned with is the guy in the on deck circle. They don't want to see him get to the plate. End the ball game right here with Adam Dunn.
Kick and the pitch. 1-2. A strike away. Well, 10 years ago, Kerry Wood was on top of the world, striking out 20 Houston Astros in one of the most dominating performances in history. He's trying to save it for Carlos Zambrano. The pitch, swing and a miss. Cubs win. Chance to win the series tomorrow. Kerry Wood does get the save. Handshakes all around in the Cubs dugout, and a terrific pitching performance tonight. Big Z went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs. Wood allowed a hit, no runs in the ninth. It's a 4-hitter in a 3-0 victory.
That's as quietly dominating as we've seen Zambrano this year. We've seen him with a better fastball. We've seen him with better breaking stuff. We've seen him a lot more animated. Just quietly went about his business and mowed down this Reds lineup.
Our Chevy player of the game, the starter and the winner, Carlos Zambrano's now won his last 4 decisions. He improves to 5-1.
That's what you want the ace of your staff to do. He got some help from his defense in the ball game tonight. But 8 strong innings of 3-hit shutout baseball for Big Z. Kerry Wood comes in to punch out 2 10 years after he punched out 20.
So the W flag is flying here in Cincinnati, and the Cubs beat the Reds 3-0. They'll turn to John Lieber tomorrow, as the Cubs will try to head home 3-3 on the road trip. They lost 2 of 3 in St. Louis, and they're 1-1 here in Cincinnati. Well, that'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned. Much more to come from the studio with Postgame Live. The final score once again, the Cubs 3, the Reds 0. Our next Cubs telecast will be tomorrow morning right here in Cincinnati. Again, Bob and I will hit the air at 11:30 a.m. John Lieber and Edinson Volquez. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob Brenly and our entire crew, this is Len Casper. You've been watching Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.
Okay, guys, thank you. Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher in our downtown Chicago studio, standing by for Cubs Postgame Live. Dan Plesac joins me to break down tonight's victory and look ahead to tomorrow's series finale. That's all coming up after this break on Comcast Sportsnet.
I know this drill. I rack up a big charge on my credit card. I get a tote bag.
Well, actually, with our points program, you can get gift cards, flat screen TVs, even plane tickets.
How do you get enough points for that?
Oh, all kinds of ways. By using your debit card, your credit cards, checking account.
I don't believe you.
What?
You messing with me, right?
No, I'm not messing with you.
Can I still get the tote bag?
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
This year, when the sun goes down, the night heats up. Chicagoland Speedway is now rocking the summer day and night and bringing all of NASCAR's biggest stars to town in a first-ever historic night race. For ticket information, call 888-629-RACE or visit chicagolandspeedway.com.
Enjoy the great outdoors with a new patio set from Menards. This wrought iron patio set includes 4 spring action chairs and a 42-inch round table with a durable finish, on sale only $199. The Palm Base set includes 2 deep seating chairs, a love seat, a glass top coffee table, and reversible cushions. This entire set is only $499. Plus, there are 0 payments and no interest for 6 months with your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm freezing. 212 Jackson.
Don't get burned. Call 4 Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning at 866-4 Seasons. For all the right reasons, 4 Seasons.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. The first ever Pontiac G8. Build your own at pontiac.com/G8. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. And by GMC. Engineered to the highest standard. Professional grade.
The Cubs get the victory tonight, and it's a shutout win at that. 3-0 is your final from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Carlos Zambrano goes 8 innings. Kerry Wood picks up the save on the anniversary of his 20 strikeout performance 10 years ago, and he ironically ends the game by striking out Adam Dunn. Hello and welcome to Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. I'm Gail Fisher alongside Dan Plesac. So a nice victory for the Cubs. Big Z, a dominating pitching performance for him. And really, this game was about the Cubs getting back in that left-hand column.
Boy, there's no question about it. And Carlos Zambrano looks like he's finally turned the corner in being a complete pitcher. He's had flashes where he's been really good for 6 or 7 starts, a couple of bumps in the road, but he has started out this season being what the Cubs need him to be, the ace of the staff, eating up innings. He's gotten better with every start, and he was in complete control this game. And a couple of chances during the games where the Reds had a couple of scoring opportunities, he really cinched it up and got a couple of big ground ball double plays. He was terrific.
Well, as we take a look at our pitching recap, you'll see Zambrano going those 8 innings. It's almost too bad for Cincinnati, of course, not for Cub fans at all. But Aaron Harang actually had a quality start. He'll have to take the loss in this one. Z, though, was very efficient tonight, Dan. He threw 105 pitches through 7 innings, so you sort of knew he could go back out there for the 8th inning. And, in fact, Carlos was sort of lobbying to go back in the 9th and pitch a complete game, but they used Kerry Wood instead. Zambrano was our Falco player of the game.
Well, you kind of touched on it, Harang. I feel kind of bad because remember we did a game last September where I put the thing on Harang.
That's right.
Went out with a back injury and he hasn't been the same since. Didn't put the thing on him tonight. This was just the Cubs got him tonight.
Yeah, right, Dan. I think it's probably lingering from last season. Talk a little bit about the efficiency of Zambrano, though. 105 pitches. There he is lobbying to go in the 9th inning.
Well, I tell you what. He's turned the corner on a couple of different occasions that really have to make you think that this guy has finally figured out. He was in a couple of jams and using that power sinker that he has, got a couple of ground ball double plays to get out of innings. He's not overthrowing when he gets into trouble. He's throwing strike one when he's in trouble, making them put the ball in play. He's commanding all of his pitches. He's really been dominant. He's been terrific.
All right, as I mentioned, all of this on the anniversary of Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance 10 years ago. As we go to break, let's check out our Pontiac Opinion poll question. Since it has to do with Kerry Wood's performance 10 years ago, we want to know, over the next 20 years, will another Cubs pitchers strike out 20 batters in a game? A simple yes or no. Log on to ComcastSportsNet.com, click on the link to Chicago, then go to the Cubs page and cast your vote. We'll have the results later on Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live.
Coming up on Sports Night, the White Sox are back on home turf. Can they get things straightened out after a long lost weekend in Canada? It's the 10th anniversary of Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance. We relive one of the most memorable games in Cubs history. Plus, is Mike D'Antoni coming to Chicago? We'll have the latest on the Bulls coaching search. And as Cedric Benson meets with the team, yet another Bears starter finds himself on the outside looking in. It's all coming your way on Sports Night at 10.
Welcome to Lowe's. How can I help you today?
Just a sec. Okay.
We need lots of flowers. Well, let's get started.
Welcome back spring at Lowe's with our huge selection of your area's plants and flowers, all with our 1-year plant guarantee. Lowe's, let's build something together.
You can't ignore it forever. It's your future. It's real life. Whatever your goals may be, it's important to get real answers from people you know and trust. At Country Insurance and Financial Services, we'll help you feel secure for everything life has coming your way. Country, real answers for real financial security. Because this is real life.
This is our country.
The Reebok Hex Ride running shoe. Extreme comfort and cushioning, perfect for the off-season.
There is no off-season. I'm with you, Matt. Running keeps me strong. Got that, Tori. It builds my speed. Like you need more speed, Chad. It will to break my records.
Hey, guys. We all have our reasons.
For sure, Stace.
To be a better dancer.
Like me. It's your move, Matt.
Matt, you might want to stick to passing.
Yeah.
The Reebok Hex Ride, available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Hey, Chicagoland, get a running start on Memorial Day weekend, Thursday, May 22nd, with the J.P. Morgan Chase Corporate Challenge Race. Grab a few fellow employees for a fun 3.5-mile run walk starting in Grant Park. Registration is only $35 per person, and J.P. Morgan Chase will make a donation for each entry to the Chicago Bears Care Foundation. Help us beat last year's number of nearly 23,000 participants from almost 600 different Chicagoland companies. To join the challenge, just go to jpmorganchasecc.com.
Hey parents, Chicago Blackhawks youth hockey camps are a summertime hockey blast. We provide comprehensive hockey skills development for kids ages 6 to 14. Learn to skate, pass, shoot, defend, and compete the Chicago Blackhawks way. Day camps include instruction from Blackhawks hockey heroes like Steve Conroy, Troy Murray, and Murray Bannerman. All programs are available at blackhawkscamps.com or call 312-226-0002. Chicago Blackhawks youth hockey camps are presented by Athletico.
McDonald's Sports Rise, every morning, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Welcome back. Time now for our 4 seasons. Who's hot, who's not, over the last 7 days. The Padres' Adrian Gonzalez has 4 homers and 6 RBI in that time span. Matt Kemp has 13 ribbies, a big reason why he was the National League Player of the Week last week. And Aaron Cook went 2-0 with a 1.23 ERA. Now, who's not hot? The D-backs' Eric Burns is 3 for 25. Troy Gloss just 2 for 22. And former Cub Greg Maddux went 0 for 2. And he's still waiting for career win number 350. And today our sweet play of the game is from Carlos Zambrano in the 2nd inning after walking 2 batters. He picks off Joey Votto at second. Zambrano's throw was a little off the mark, you'll see, but a nice play by Ronnie Cedeno to block the bag and get the out. That is our sweet play of the game. And Ronnie Cedeno in this ball game giving Mark DeRosa a little bit of a break. He's been scuffling a little bit on this road trip. And Cedeno actually coming through in that 4th inning with a big knock that's going to score a couple of runs. And you know, they didn't need it in the end because they shut him out. But it's nice to have the insurance.
Well, this was really a big hit because Carlos Zambrano was really in charge going into the 4th inning. And when he's pitching like he was tonight, You get a 3-run lead. That's almost like a 5 or a 6-run lead for Carlos Zambrano. He's been terrific. And you go back and you try to dissect the last week and say, what kind of went wrong? I think, Gail, it starts and it stops with the Cubs are going to need better production out of their starting rotation. Rich Hill sent down to the minor leagues. John Lieber coming up starting tomorrow. Carlos Zambrano and Ryan Dempster have been really, really good. They've held up their end of the bargain. Ted Lilly, his last couple have been better, but they're going to need some production out of the 4 and 5 spots out of that starting rotation. They've gone to the bullpen an awful lot, and we're really only 5 or 6 weeks into the season. It can't continue.
Well, we'll see what John Lieber is going to do tomorrow in the series finale. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And we're going to take one final time out here on Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. When we come back, we'll have the results of tonight's Pontiac opinion poll question. Plus, we will look ahead to tomorrow's series finale in Cincinnati. Stay with us.
And now it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold Statistics of the Day, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
Welcome to Lowe's. How can I help you today?
Just a sec. Okay.
We need lots of flowers. Well, let's get started.
Welcome back spring at Lowe's with our huge selection of your area's plants and flowers, all with our 1-year plant guarantee. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Dex, do you know of any laundromats around here?
13 within a 5-mile radius.
That take credit cards?
4. The 2 on Abbey Street will do your laundry for you. You might need both of them. I also know a good barber and a personal trainer. Ooh, and a good dating service.
Introducing DexKnows.com. With complete local info, comparisons, and maps, it's the smartest local search on the web. Visit DexKnows.com.
Time for a little high life housekeeping.
You can't park here.
Keep an eye on. So this is how the other half of 1% lives. Hello, common sense check. $5 for chips. $13.50 for a bag of nuts? This hotel just lost its key to the high life. We got a lot of high life to collect. High life housekeeping. And they say money can't buy you love. Common sense, this is your wake-up call. Get your butt up. For $13, I'll be a macadamia nut.
You know that song, Time in a Bottle? Well, I got time in a bottle, just by changing my allergy medicine from Claritin to Zyrtec. Zyrtec's a lot faster. It starts working 2 hours faster than Claritin, and it keeps working for 24 hours on all my allergy symptoms, indoors and out. You know, Zyrtec should put that on the label. Ingredients: 2 hours you didn't have before.
Zyrtec, the fastest 24-hour allergy relief, now without a prescription.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get a low-mileage lease on the 2008 GMC Acadia for around $349 a month. Call for residency restrictions and details. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, we asked our Pontiac opinion poll question. It's been 10 years since Kerry Woods struck out 20 batters in a game. We asked you, over the next 2 decades, will another Cubs pitcher strike out 20 batters in a game? And you said, no. And we even gave you an extra 10 years to have a Cubs pitcher do it. So 32% of you think it could possibly happen. I don't know, Dan. Why not?
It can happen, but I tell you what, if Rich Hill doesn't straighten himself out, he might be the first to walk 20 in a game.
Oh, no.
He's got to go back down and get himself right. He's a big part of these pitching plans, and they were expecting a lot out of Rich Hill, and he needs to go down to Iowa, get himself straightened out, and get back up here and help this team win some games.
Well, Rich Hill being sent down means John Lieber has now moved into the starting rotation. Lieber will get the start tomorrow. His first start for the Cubs of the season against Edison Volquez. And you've been calling for Lieber for a little while here, Dan, so we'll see how he does.
Well, you know what, Gail? I just think he's better suited to be a starting pitcher. What makes John Lieber so effective is the variety of pitches. A good sinking fastball, a nice tight slider, mixes in just enough changeups, and I think that added repertoire, it suits him better to be a starting pitcher than a reliever.
All right, well, Lieber will get the start for the Cubs tomorrow in the series finale from Cincinnati. Dan and I will see you for Cubs pregame live starting at 11 a.m. Dan's bringing the bagels and the coffee.
Breakfast with Gail.
We'll see you then. Cubs get the victory 3-0. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Cubs Post-Game Live is presented to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Welcome to Lowe's. How can I help you today?
Just a sec. Okay.
We need lots of flowers. Well, let's get started.
Welcome back spring at Lowe's with our huge selection of your area's plants and flowers, all with our 1-year plant guarantee. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Lost in a daydream of blue and I feel so free. And then it's like I fall from the sky. Everything that I see is you. Oh, I adore you.
Introducing the Volvo XC90 Special Edition. Fully loaded for under $40,000 with almost $8,000 in luxury options while supplies last.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by American Chartered Bank. American Chartered, the bank for your business. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Feldco is having a siding spectacular. Save energy and beautify your home.
Call 866 for...
What would you pay?
What would you pay to have me want to play outside?
To work and play at the same time.
What would you pay? To have your dad eat your dust.
To take control.
For better stories to tell on Monday morning.
What would you pay for the quality, reliability, and value of a Honda? Right now, you'll pay less with low financing and other great deals at the Good to Go sales event. Now at your Honda dealer.
Hawkeye Motor works, so you can play right on.
The best time is any time at Catfish Bend Casino. Jump on board the Burlington Express jackpot and win instant cash playing your favorite slot games. Win up to $3,000, $5,000, $7,500, or $10,000. Play any eligible slot, and you're playing for the Burlington Express jackpot. Everyone's on board, and anyone can win. For friends and fun, for good living, great dining, for bright nights and magic days.
The best time is any time at Catfish Bend Casino.
The story you're about to see is true. The events have been recreated because through the passage of time, this has become one of the forgotten stories of sports. It was 1943. America had plunged into World War II and sent its young men off to battle, depleting the ranks of the NFL. The league was in danger of folding and came to a desperate solution. Merged two bitter rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so, the Steagles were born. But it was a stormy alliance.
They hated each other's guts, to put it mildly.
Could this band of military rejects come together to keep the NFL alive in its greatest moment of crisis? They were a team of hope in a time of fear, giving the nation something to cheer about, and getting a second chance to be heroes.
We didn't realize how much we were contributing to personal morale of the nation.
Next on Amazing Sports Stories, the true story of the Steagles when rivals became teammates. The cries of battle echoed across two oceans as the Allies mounted their defense against invading German and Japanese forces. A call rose up for more men to aid the cause. Sons and brothers cast their eyes to foreign shores, left their homes and families, and prepared to fight. The effects were felt on the home front, and for one moment in all of its history, the National Football League found itself short a crucial resource: players.
Remember, at the time, the NFL was more or less a minor league. Baseball was the biggest sport in the country, and during the whole war, over 600 NFL players went off to war, and the rosters at that time were only about 25 per team. Well, rosters were decimated.
Most of the players went into the service. I mean, even the guys coming out of college, they had to go right in the service, too. They were eligible age-wise and physically.
By 1943, with America deeply entrenched in war, few remained to field the NFL's 10 teams. When the Cleveland Rams folded for that season, the owners felt obligated to keep the Sunday pastime alive for the fans who needed it now more than ever.
Gentlemen, welcome. We appreciate all of you coming today. We are indeed at a pivotal moment for our league and for our country.
Confronted with the possibility of a lost season, League Commissioner Elmer Layden called the NFL owners to a meeting in search of ideas to keep the league afloat.
It was a seminal event in league history.
No, that's not going to work. We're just going to have to try and get some of these guys in.
There was more than a little contention about what to do. There were owners who thought we should just quit, and there were other owners who said, no, we need to keep this thing going.
The owners argued for hours, but at last arrived at a resolution. They decided to merge the Pittsburgh Steelers with the Philadelphia Eagles in a move that ensured the survival of both franchises. They prayed it would be enough to rescue the league from destruction.
It just made sense to merge them. For one thing, they were both pretty bad teams, so you didn't have to worry about creating a super team by merging them. For another, the owners were comfortable with each other.
With just a signature, the first merger in NFL history was born. The 7 remaining Steelers players would combine with the 17 Eagles for the 1943 season.
The official name of the team listed in the NFL records today is Phil Pitt, but almost immediately, I mean, within days after the announcement of the merger, sports writers started calling the team the Steagles. The name was kind of put down.
This marriage was not a happy one, for it seemed the gap between different cities and different teams could not be bridged. And yet one thing did unite them. These men remained stateside, while their brothers went off to fight.
Most of the Steagles were 4F. Most of them had been either discharged from the military for physical reasons or had not been able to get in the first place for some physical reason. It had to affect your ego, getting that letter. To have the government, the military say, you're not good enough, even you're not man enough to be in the Army.
I was rated a 4F. I had a perforated punctured eardrum, and on that basis, I was not brought into the military.
I was in the Navy for about 1 month till they found out I was deaf in my left ear, and so they didn't want a deaf pilot flying around.
The public perception of men who were classified 4F was negative. Some of the guys talked about getting mail. You know, what are you guys doing out there playing football? While my son's on the battlefield. Why are you on the football field?
That was not something we were proud of, but it's something we just had to live with.
Perforated eardrums, flat feet, ulcers, partial blindness, ailments that prevented these disappointed players from serving their country, and which only added to their grim outlook. Both teams had been in the league for 10 years. The Steelers had just a single winning season, one more than the Eagles.
They practically hadn't won a game each year. And so there was probably a feeling that we wouldn't amount to much.
The task of turning the Steagles into winners was even more daunting, thanks to the team's dual head coaches. For Walt Kiesling of the Steelers and Earl Greasy Neal of the Eagles had nothing in common, except their feelings for each other.
If I said they weren't friends, I'd just put it a little mild. They just didn't like each other.
Greasy Neal and Walt Kiesling were opposites in just about every way, from the way they dressed, their temperament.
Catch the ball! Greasy Neal had a very domineering personality. He had to be the boss. Come on, guys, play it again. And boy, he was tough on his players. Come on! Catch that ball! Walter Kiesling, he was not used to somebody like Greasy Neal.
While they may have both coached for the same reason, their beliefs on how to achieve victory, like their personalities, were complete opposites.
Kiesling was a very conservative guy, didn't believe in the T formation, didn't believe in passing. Snap it back to the halfback and just cram it down their throat. Greasy Neal, T formation, pass the ball, surprise, speed. So he liked to put in lots of passing, a lot of trick plays, that sort of thing.
Greasy! We're never going to get anywhere on plays like that.
So these were two guys who had different approaches to football, dressed differently, talked differently, and so this made for a lot of tension.
The standoff between both coaches finally reached a boiling point one night in training camp.
I start when I start. This team starts when I start. And this is my team. Don't you ever stop a practice of mine again.
It was a difficult situation. Kiesling threatened to leave the team. He was going to take all the Steelers with him. So it was one of those cases where does 1 + 1 = 2 here? Imagine trying to put two teams together now. It wasn't any different back then. They had been adversaries the year before, and now they were teammates. And when you looked at the track record of both franchises, there was not much hope for the Steagles.
They were supposed to be the saviors of the league, but could hardly last a practice without throwing fists and hurling insults. Would the Steagles survive the season or be torn apart by hatred? At stake, the very future of the NFL.
When you get a BlackBerry at Best Buy, it's like you get us too, because we help you get the most out of it. We can show you how to download music, check the weather, plan your day, show you how to look stuff up on the web, or take a photo and share it. All BlackBerry smartphones on sale, including Geek Squad Seto, so you can walk out with it working. Only at Best Buy.
KFC, huh?
Hey, I found $1 in your couch.
Keep it.
You sure?
It's $1. It won't get me anything these days.
You could turn that $1 into a KFC snacker.
What?
The snacker's only 99 cents.
And it comes in buffalo.
Honey barbecue, ultimate cheese.
Today, I am a wealthy man.
So why don't you give me my $1 back?
Actually, I'm eating it.
Big taste, big variety, small coin. The 99-cent snacker is at KFC. Grab one and go for just 99 cents.
KFC!
Amanda.
Gary.
Wow. You look amazing.
Same old Gary.
No, listen. I'm sorry about the way things ended. I was immature, but I've been doing some soul searching. I've matured.
Bye, Gary.
You can't always be smooth, but your beer should be. Brewed for a smooth taste that's never bitter. Keystone Light is always smooth. Even when you're not.
Well, good morning.
Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
I need you. I need you every single day and I want you. I want you every single way and I need you. I need you every single day and I want you. I want you every single way and it's love. It's love. It's love. It's la 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 la. It's love. It's love. It's love. It's la 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 la. It's love.
Well, good morning.
Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
By 1943, the United States was at war and had shipped its young men off to battle. Short on players, desperate NFL owners merged two teams in order to save the league. The Steagles were born, composed of military cast-offs, rejected soldiers from the Eagles and the Steelers.
You're no coach of my team.
But this union was plagued by a stubborn rivalry. Two coaches whose hatred charged the team with tension.
When training camp opened, the players were wary of each other. The team was based in Philadelphia, and it was heavily weighted with Philadelphia players. And I think the Steelers on the squad resented that. There were bound to be fireworks, and there were. I mean, especially in training camp. Usually had to do something with who was the starter and who was the number 2 guy at a certain position. As an example, Vic Sears was an Eagle, and he played tackle. And when the merger occurred, there was a Steeler named Elby Schultz, who was also a tackle. And Vic Sears had been the starting tackle for the Eagles the year before. While they had the merger, Elby Schultz now became the starting tackle on the team. And there was a little antagonism there.
There was some competition for different positions, and I think we just, by competition and scrimmages, we just didn't like each other.
And though the practices were grueling, as men who were spared battle, they were expected to do much more. Each Steagles day began long before he reached the practice field.
The Steagles players all worked full-time during the week, during the season, in defense jobs. Bert Bell, one of the owners of the Steelers at the time, thought this would help with the war effort. You couldn't find workers for a lot of these jobs to work in factories and shipyards.
After being declared 4F, I was involved in a war job that was welding metal pieces that they used for equipment.
We were doing whatever we could to help the war effort. I went and worked in the shipyard and became an inspector. And it wasn't easy because it made for a very, very long day.
The players were just exhausted, and there was really a question of whether or not they could maintain this pace of working at least 40 hours a week in the factory and playing pro football.
The long days and internal rivalries took their toll on the team. And after the Steagles lost an exhibition game, it was clear that the public was right to doubt their prospects.
We realized that we were in a position where we should be criticized.
Well, we're not going very well. At times, there was a friction mentality, but there are guys out there overseas that are a lot greater problems, and that's something we all felt.
When they weren't on the field, all of the players, friend and foe, resided in the Hotel Philadelphia. It was there where they realized they had more in common than they had previously thought.
Greasy Neal insisted that the players live in the same hotel. Greasy believed that this had a positive effect on the team, and it probably did.
It could have been their mutual 4F status and their employment at the factories, or just the power of time to wear down ill will. But at long last, the Steagles were becoming a team.
The guys from both clubs, we all felt good. And I realized that you learn a lot about human nature when you're in something like that. It helped me.
They got to know each other. They started hitting it off. They were friendly. And I think it was all in this together and trying to help each other out.
The days didn't get any shorter or the practices any easier. But as their grudges slowly melted, their commitment to the team grew.
There certainly was a spirit of it. You were thinking of your ball club, what you wanted to do, and what you had to do.
Even the feuding coaches did their part. Though Greasy Neal and Walt Kiesling would never forge a friendship, they did agree to each take charge of one side of the ball. Neal would take charge of the offense and Kiesling the defense.
They still didn't like each other too much, but at least this allowed them to coexist. And it was an exceptional example of Philadelphia-Pittsburgh cooperation.
This time you gotta hold it up, guys.
They became fond of each other. They were traveling together, living together, playing together. Just being together, that's what teamwork is all about.
We realized, listen, we got to improve. We got to get together and play like a team.
They really did bond, and some of the players really seemed to feel like we weren't Steelers, we weren't Eagles, we were Steagles.
And we finally said, listen, if we go have to prove to these people that we can play football.
To unite was not enough. To complete their Cinderella story, the Steagles had to win against the best teams in the league, including the defending champions, the Washington Redskins. While their countrymen were at war, could the Steagles somehow become heroes of the home front?
So, I'm on this flight to Europe, and I'm working on my meeting slides, and I notice that my seat has this whole control panel that lets me get into this zen-like position. And I get the remote and find that documentary everybody got to see but me because, well, all I do is work. And then I hit a button and my seat goes all the way flat. And there's a duvet. A duvet on a plane? I could so get used to this.
The new international business class, only on American. We know why you fly.
The final countdown has begun.
In 5 days, leave your world in the dust.
See you at the finish line.
From the creators of the Matrix trilogy. Speed Racer. Rated PG.
They say the best weapon is one you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree.
Iron Man, the official video game. Rated T for teen. Available now.
Good luck keeping up.
The Yamaha Get Out and Ride event with huge deals on Yamaha motorcycles, ATVs, and Rhino side-by-sides. So get into your Yamaha dealer, then get out and ride. Now get up to $750 customer cash on select models, plus low monthly payments on every Yamaha.
Skechers work shoes are stylish, durable, comfortable. And did we mention they're also slip resistant?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, even if you lose your phone, we can save all your contacts.
You save them. Mm-hmm. You're like a hero.
Well, we know how important it is to keep in touch.
And you're modest too.
Well, you know, I'm just doing my job.
Just doing my job. That's hero talk.
Get My Contacts Backup and see why U.S. Cellular is wireless, where you matter most.
It was 1943 and America was at war. The Steagles, too, were primed for battle with plenty to prove. Though the Eagles-Steelers merger was rocky at first, months of toil bonded the men into a solid front. By the eve of the season opener, the Steagles could but pray for victory, something to lift the spirits of a nation weary of war. The Steagles, at last, were ready for a fight.
The first regular season game the Steagles played was in early October against the Brooklyn Dodgers. And at the beginning of the season, there were such low expectations for this team. But as the Steagles won, and they won in such an impressive fashion,
the carryover from a strong preseason finish was evident in a 17-0 victory. But the Steagles truly began to change public sentiment after winning again the following week.
Just by winning the first two games proved that, you know, they could win, that they were legitimate.
The Steagles were winning. Despite laboring in the war industry factories during the regular season, fans saw this sacrifice and gave them their respect.
These were guys you wanted to root for. These were guys you wanted to win. Mostly 4F, working in factories all week. They built the stuff that won the war.
I felt good about that. I really did, because I had a lot of friends who They weren't ball players. They were out in the war, and you weren't out there in the front. But I felt good about at least being able to help that way.
They were doing their part for the war effort. But then in addition to that, by playing football on Sunday, they entertained the people at home.
It gave the general public something else to think about. You have to go on living your lives even though there's a war going on. And we didn't realize just how much we were contributing to personal morale of the nation.
By the end of October, the Steagles had a record of 3 wins and 2 losses. Then came their toughest task of the season, the team by which all others were measured, the Washington Redskins.
The Redskins were defending champs. They were on a 13-game winning streak. And Sammy Baugh, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, was the Redskins quarterback. And the Steagles-Redskins game was really a landmark game that season.
The Steagles had some victories, it was true, but nothing like the test of their mettle that awaited them. To the 4 Fs on this team, this was their chance to show that they could truly fight.
Roy Zimmerman, who had been traded from the Redskins before the season, in his first game against his old team, really played the game of his life.
Zimmerman led the Steagles on 2 touchdown scoring drives, while the defense was overpowering a Redskin team that was averaging close to 30 points a game.
Sammy Baugh, I think he went through 3 jerseys in that game. They were tackling him so hard.
The Steagles went blow for blow with the Redskins and found themselves deadlocked as the game's final minutes approached. It defied all odds. This group of military rejects who endured grueling schedules, feuding coaches, and internal hatred. Could these men possibly be on the cusp of ending Washington's season-and-a-half-long winning streak?
The score was 14-14 late in the game. Sammy Baugh is driving the Redskins down for what seems like an inevitable winning touchdown when Ray Graves makes an interception and seals the tie.
That was as good as a win for us and a loss for the Redskins. And I got a $50 bonus for catching that, intercepting that pass. And believe me, that was one of the biggest things that we've ever enjoyed.
The fact that the Steagles were able to hold the Redskins to a tie was just absolutely inconceivable.
A haggard nation set aside their worries and rejoiced in the shocking upset. No longer the cast-offs of war, the Steagles had become what they dreamed of and prayed for. Heroes of the home front. They achieved what no one thought was possible. A team of men unfit for battle, coached by warring leaders, had somehow beat the odds. They finished the season second in the East Division with 5 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie.
They had a winning record. This was the first time the Eagles had ever had a winning record. It was only the 2nd winning season in the history of the Pittsburgh franchise. And when you look at these 2 combined teams with a lot of tensions, 2 head coaches that didn't get along, players working in factories all week, when you look at all that, and then at the end of the season, they had a winning record, I mean, it's almost hard to believe.
The following year, the Steagles disbanded. The Eagles had enough players to field their own team for the 1944 season, while the Steelers went on to merge with the Chicago Cardinals. Head coaches Greasy Neal and Walt Kiesling went their separate ways. But despite all of their differences, they ultimately came to share one honor. They are both enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They and the group of men they coached in 1943 will forever be etched in history as heroes.
Now looking back, more than 60 years later, the players themselves, this is one of those things in their careers that really stands out, this season they played as Steagles.
We did something right, and a lot of people are proud of what we did, and the Steagles will always be something special in football.
At the heart of the story is a bunch of guys who did all they could to give people something to root for. And keeping this venue for entertainment alive during the war, that's pretty amazing. And I think it's definitely worth remembering.
Premium footwear by 310.
Hold on tight to your dream. Hey, hold on tight.
Introducing the all-new 268 horsepower Accord. The most powerful Accord ever. Because making the perfect car isn't just about the road, but rather everything beyond it. The all-new Accord from Honda.
Skechers work shoes are stylish, durable, comfortable, and did we mention they're also slip resistant?
Hello and welcome to Future Phenoms. I'm your host, Pat Summerall. Today, a special look at some of the stories surrounding the Indy 500, including a story of the poster girl for the race, Danica Patrick. We also hit the hardwood for the latest on prep and college basketball. From the coming and goings for the LSU Tigers to the most recent commitment for the Memphis Tigers, we hear from the source. We also check in on a couple of young skateboarders who seem to be at home on four wheels. But we start in the Midwest. Bursting onto the scene a little more than 2 years ago at Indianapolis, success was supposed to be an instant for Danica Patrick. Maybe it wasn't fair, but a fourth-place finish in the Indy 500 heightened expectations. No longer was it a case of if she would, but instead, it became a matter of when. Now, almost 2 years later, she is no longer a stranger to the victory circle. But even before becoming the first woman to win an American open wheel race, she found herself up front a lot.
I think as far as a driver, I think I've done really well. I think I've progressed dramatically over the last few races and just pushing harder and making passes happen and doing better on the track. And as far as results, it doesn't really show, but internally we know how good it's been going.
That wasn't the case 2 years ago, as she struggled with Rahal Letterman Racing. Knowing her best shot at winning would come with one of three teams, she didn't hesitate when a ride opened up at Andretti Green Racing.
In the end, it wasn't a hard choice, but it was difficult in the beginning to think about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do it with. And unfortunately, last year was not a good year with Rahal Letterman. The cars were kind of slow, and we were struggling internally as a team, just getting things together and having enough manpower to do what we needed to do. So there was a lot of reasons why it wasn't hard, but at the end of the day, Bob was a great boss to me. He gave me a good chance to go out there and show what I was able to do, and that I will always remember.
Considered one of the top teams since joining the series in 2003, AGR is also known for its practical jokes. But so far, Danica has been spared.
You know, I've been part of some antics. You know, we put a bunch of pies on Dario's head on his birthday at Indy, and then I think the only thing that's happened to me really, and I'm still confused whether or not for sure it was a joke on me, my bicycle had a flat tire, and I was like, funny boys, flat tire, took the air out, and so we filled it up, and then it went flat again, so I was like, no, it must be a hole in the tire or something. And then later on I told the story, and Marco was like, oh, no, we would do way worse than that if we were going to play a prank. And then I heard after that that Brian Herta was the one that did it. And so, anyways, I'm not sure, but I think they've been pretty easy on me so far.
That could all change with her first trip to Victory Lane.
The only torture I'm a little bit worried about, which I still call their bluff on this one is that they said they're going to shave my head when I win my first race. So Tony said I should just keep my helmet on for as long as I want to keep my hair. So if you see me walking around the paddock with my helmet on after the race, you'll know why.
Known as much for her modeling off the track as her success on it, the question then becomes, would she trade her hair for wins?
That's a really difficult question. Of course I want to win, yes. And maybe we could come to some sort of agreement afterwards. So knowing that they might do that, I would still of course win a race, no doubt. But hair, it's important. I'm a girl. I don't want anybody to call me crazy or for shaving my head, or I don't want to look like Britney Spears.
But even with a shaved head, she would still be the face of the IndyCar Series. Probably even more so because she has finally won, proving she is not just a pretty face.
I love representing the series. I love helping the series. And by saying representing the series, I don't mean that I'm the only one doing it. We all are, but I love to help, and I love to elevate the sport and bring more attention to it. And it's satisfying to see more people in the stands and hear about more people watching our races, and that's a good payoff in the end. It's exciting racing, and people just need to tune in once and watch it and realize that it is, and pick your favorite driver and cheer for them. So I enjoy it. I enjoy doing interviews. I enjoy the whole process of it. It is also part of the job too. So you're never going to get completely around it, so you might as well enjoy it.
In addition to seeing Danica Patrick, fans will see a much improved field at this year's Indy 500. That is because after over a decade of having two major North American open wheel series, the Indy Racing League and CART finally have come together and will race as one series. Now, the biggest auto race in the whole world will live up to its billing. The hope is that it will return to its former glory, and it should be enhanced by that of Danica Patrick, A.J. Foyt IV, Will Power, and Oriol Servia. From four wheels on the track to four wheels on the ramp as we head out west for our next story. Just west of Sacramento lies the town of Shingle Springs. Like most towns in the area, Shingle Springs was born in the gold rush. The town sits on the site of a camp set up by gold miners in the mid-1800s. The art of mining is the ability to find hidden wealth long before anybody else can see it. That pioneering spirit applies to two of our town's youngest and best-known athletes. Tristan and Nick Pusa are just 9 years old, but are quickly becoming skateboarding legends. They are the country's youngest lords of the board. The Pusa twins are full-blown stars in the half-pipe world.
It's just a fun sport. I like fast, I like airing heights. It's like you're Superman.
There are no young skaters in the country who are as super as these two stars. The 9-year-olds routinely compete against and beat skaters much older than them. A spot about the twins on YouTube is the most viewed skating video on the internet. They have their own professional website and a list of big-time sponsors ranging from Gatorade and Sony to the biggest shoe giant in the world, Nike.
The kids are amazing. Like, they truly are amazing. Like, they're at their level, like, for their age, you know? I mean, you watch them skate, and they skate like they're grown, you know? Like, they can push around like, you know, a grown man would be able to, you know, or like someone at the top of their game.
It's hard to believe that these 9-year-olds are already being compared to the best in the skating business. But children their age simply aren't supposed to move like this. Then again, great skaters aren't made. They're born with these types of moves and the fearless spirit that creates them.
Going to parks, just regular parks, they go to the top of the jungle gym and just, you know, I'm going to fly off. And so I just early on had to realize I couldn't say no constantly and just had to learn that's part of who they were. Now, you know, some things, yeah, you're going to have to set the limits, but I did realize that part of that extremeness is just in their blood.
Tristan and Nick are homeschooled, which frees them up to take advantage of the multitude of skate parks in Northern California. Skating is a fast-growing sport. That growth breeds parks like this, and which in turn breed athletes like the Pusa twins.
Skateboarding, I think, back in, you know, from the mid-'80s to mid-'90s kind of really died. And a lot of skate parks got torn down. You know, skateboarding, the proliferation of skateboarding, you know, has really boomed. and it's just become a hugely widely acceptable sport.
And on the concrete jungles of Northern California, the Pusa twins learned the highs and lows of the half pipe. They might be the same age, but their skateboarding styles couldn't be any more different.
Tristan, I think, you know, has a little higher confidence level of his abilities than Nick. Now, not saying he has a better skill level or a better ability, but he has a higher confidence in it. So when it comes to going for a new trick or a big trick, he's more apt to look at the trick and just say, hey, and just go try it or do it. Where Nick is a little more reserved, and Nick wants to, you know, put a little more calculation into the risk and you know, the technicalities of it and what he needs to do to get it done. So in that sense, that's probably at this point, a key difference between them.
And if one brother fails, the other one is there to help out. They keep an eye on each other and learn new tricks at the same time.
Well, the invert Tristan's never done. So a couple days ago, I was helping him on the ramp to show him how to do it, and he got it after like, maybe 20 tries. I can do, like, you know, you go up and go backwards. I can do ollie to make you go high, and I just taught him that a couple days ago because he was doing a nose grab, but I taught him how to do melon grabs, and he got way higher.
Along with all this success comes the inherent failure that comes along with skating. For every successful trick, there's an equally spectacular fall. In a very painful way, skating teaches one of the main lessons of life. When you fall, you must get back up.
We used to fall hard, but we never wanted to stop skating, and we never quit.
When they started skateboarding, you know, early on, they were taking some serious slams. I mean, we've got some video footage of you see some slams and you're saying, man, what the heck are these guys doing to themselves? And that was part of them really not too good at assessing, you know, their ability with, you know, the trick they were doing. And so, you know, consequently, they had some pretty hard slams. And
it just doesn't happen overnight, and it does take a lot of practice to do the things that they do. You just can't come out and, okay, yeah, I'm going to be able to do this without taking your pains.
The Pusas have a half pipe in their backyard and a family-wide passion for skating. But sometimes the twins just like to be normal kids. For example, they love to race go-karts when they're off their boards.
It's very important to us. I mean, and even for my own personal life, is that, you know, I've learned early on that it's extremely important to have, you know, balance in your life. And everything can't just be one thing or, you know, all or nothing. And so we try to inject that with Tristan and Nick, and, you know, they skate. Really, right now, they're probably skating 3 or 4 days a week, maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 hours at a time. So they have a lot of time off from skateboarding, which I think is important for them to also enjoy other activities that other kids enjoy.
However, skating is what their 9-year-old brains are obsessed with right now. If they're not doing it, they're thinking about it inside of local skate shops. Most experts expect the Pusas to be highly paid professional skaters sometime in the next 10 years. But even if someday they quit the sport, their family will be right there with them.
We just always encourage them in everything they do. And, you know, we just tell them, if you want something, you can go get it. If you're dedicated and you're willing to work, if that's what you want, work hard and we'll help you too.
As these twins tell us, even in an individual sport like skating, family is the most important thing. For more on these skateboarding phenoms, as well as other up-and-coming athletes, head to our website at prepticket.com. There you can watch all of our stories in the National Spotlight section. You can also upload pictures and video, create your own profile, and interact with prep sports fans across the country. Once again, that's prepticket.com. Still much more to come on this week's edition of the show. When we return, it's time to get an update on the hoop scene as we find out where the MVP of the McDonald's All-American game will suit up, and is LSU losing more than just one big man? We answer those questions right after this.
We're in the top of the 6th inning. Vern Wells at the plate, and man, is he tough.
Javi sure could use a strikeout here.
And here's the 1-2 pitch. Be gone. What a pitch by Javi. The fans loving it.
Swisher likes it too.
The silent assassin, Javier Vasquez, just mowing him down here in the 6th inning.
looks so fine. She's the best girl that I ever had. Sometimes you're gonna make me feel so bad. Hush, hush, thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush, I need the loving and I'm not to blame now.
We're updating the IndyCar point standings in this week's Toyota Top 5. At number 5, and looking to move up, is Will Power from Queensland, Australia. Power in the number 8 car recently won the Toyota Grand Prix at Long Beach. As for who is ahead of Power in the standings, here's a look at the top of the list. Time to look to the southeast, where Memphis is adding a prep star. The nation's top unsigned basketball player has found a home. Tyreek Evans of American Christian School in Aston, Pennsylvania, has committed to the University of Memphis. The MVP of the McDonald's All-American game, Evans has earned a reputation as an explosive athlete who can get to the basket almost at will.
I'll describe my game as a scorer, you know. Some people say I can play the 1, 2, or the 3, you know, but I just play the position, you know, that my coach wants me to play and get the job done and try to win games.
Scouts are amazed at Evans' ability to handle the basketball, break down a defender, and create easy opportunities for himself. He has a quick first step to explode to the basket, and he also has the ability to drain the outside shot. At 6'5", he has the look of a 2-guard, but just when you start double-teaming him, that's when he shows his skills as a point guard to create for his teammates.
I think he's a point guard stuck in a shooting guard's body, which is kind of opposite. You know, there's so many point guards who are really 2s. So he's a point. I've been playing him at the point, but his scoring ability is tremendous. So when he comes down, you know, our first option is either run the play that I've called, or he can just break down and score if he wants to. He's extremely unselfish, but I think the one word to describe his game would be complete.
Evans' commitment came as a big relief to national runner-up Memphis, who is losing superstar guard Derrick Rose and maybe even All-American Chris Douglas Roberts to the NBA. Evans is talented enough to compete for minutes and likely even will start for the Tigers next year. Fans have compared him to several different basketball stars, but Evans believes that he is one of a kind.
Some people say I remind me of Tracy McGrady. Some had a couple people come up to me and say I play like Kobe, you know. But, you know, that's just their opinion. You know, I think I play like Tyreek.
From the southeast to the southwest now, LSU basketball has undergone some major changes following the season. Gone are the head coach John Brady, while the Tigers were able to land former Stanford head coach Trent Johnson. The team has continued to feel the impact of Brady's departure. Anthony Randolph, a 6'11" standout from Woodrow Wilson High School in Dallas, Texas, will leave after only his freshman year at LSU. Randolph, who averaged over 15 points and 8 rebounds a game, is considered by some to be a surefire lottery pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Incoming freshman Jamison Bobo Morgan could fill the shoes of Randolph. Morgan, who is also from Dallas, Texas, was considered one of the top big men in the country. Reports, however, are circulating that Morgan will ask out of the commitment he made back in November when John Brady was still the head coach. Morgan, who considered UCLA and Kansas before committing to LSU, could become a hot commodity with the Bruins and Jayhawks both losing key players to the NBA draft as well. Sticking with basketball, we head to the Northeast. Kevin Jones spent the 2007-2008 season proving to scouts what so many in the coaching circles already knew. Kevin Jones is a basketball superstar in the making. Considered a great passer and rebounder, Kevin showcased his ability to score on more than one occasion this past season as he prepared to make the jump to college and play for Bob Huggins at West Virginia.
I went down there and visited a couple of times, and I really like the atmosphere, the fans. Coach Huggins, I think he's a great coach. I think he'll get me better. And just coming to a good situation, I think we have a chance to compete for national title.
Yeah, he's pretty happy. He calls it his team already. And, you know, when they're on TV, oh, we lost last night to Pittsburgh, last second shot. So it's nice to hear. And he's proud of his accomplishments, and he's a gym rat. You don't see too many 6'8" gym rats, and I think Coach Huggins is going to fall in love with that. I have to literally kick Kevin out of the gym each day. Otherwise, I'll never eat dinner. He's one of the best three-point shooters that I've coached, and he's got great footwork inside.
Even if his footwork and shooting are top-notch, Kevin is not settling. He continues to work hard on skills he knows he'll need at the next level.
I definitely been trying to work on my ball handling a lot, so because I know when other guards pressure our guards, I'm gonna have to bring the ball up a lot. We're working on taking people off the dribble. I'm trying to do that more because on the college level, I know I'm not gonna be the tallest guy, so I have to work on other parts of my game to get better.
Still much more to come. After the break, we take a look at our final top 10 rankings in basketball and also check in on the Rocky Mountain region.
Future Phenoms is brought to you by the full-size Toyota Tundra.
Right now, Proactive Solution has good news if you have a difficult pimple or sudden breakout and can't find relief. Because when you order now, you'll get the exclusive refining mask free with your 3-piece kit. Just a dab, and the mask is designed to zap problems. It's fast, it's dramatic. Instead of hoping for an answer, use the mask and you've got it.
I use the mask for spot treatment sometimes. You know, I put it on in the evening before I go to bed, and when I wake up in the morning, you don't have acne, and you know, that's a good feeling.
It works the fastest, it's potent. That's what I tell people. It's like my little skincare army.
Call now and order the amazing Proactive Solution to heal your acne and help prevent future breakouts. Proactive is the #1 best-selling acne system in America, called Best Acne Treatment by Allure magazine.
I enjoy life more. I get out there and I do the things that I want to be doing without having to worry about the way that I look.
And now, you'll save 50% on Proactive when you order in the next 4 minutes, just $19.95.
Proactive's really, changed my life. It's changed the way people see me, and every hour of the day I'm thankful for it. It's, like gold in a bottle, really.
And you'll have the refining mask to zap problems. It's fast, as it helps reduce redness and calms your skin.
For on-the-spot pimple control, I use the refining mask. Just a little dab, that's all you need.
It's a Proactive exclusive, and it's yours free when you order the Proactive kit at 50% off.
I use the mask over my whole face just so that I can make sure everything's even. It's great.
Order in the next 3 minutes, and you can have the amazing refining mask at no charge. It's a Proactive best product, and it's part of Proactive's best offer.
I can tell it works, I know it works, and it's definitely my favorite product.
Don't just dream of clear, beautiful skin. Make it real. Order Proactive now and get a free upgrade to priority shipping. Call 1-800-664-6200.
It just makes you feel so good.
Tomorrow, the Cubs are back in Cincy as D. Lee and A-Ram take on their former coach Dusty Baker and the Reds in high definition, followed by Lou's Cubs postgame live. Cubs-Reds in HD tomorrow at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Future Phenoms is brought to you by the full-size Toyota Tundra.
Let's point the compass to the high country and tell you about a hoops dynasty in Denver. Lincoln High School in downtown Denver had a 49-year title drought. After winning the cross-country title in 1968, Lincoln did not take home another state championship until 2007. But now, thanks to an outstanding boys basketball team, the trophies keep rolling in. Lincoln won the 4A state crown in 2007 and followed that up with another title this season. But the latest win did not come easily for the Lancers. They trailed Whitefield High School in the championship game with just over a minute to go. But 8 straight points by standout forward Francisco Cruz lifted Lincoln to the 63-59 win. Cruz is a native of Mexico who was named the Colorado 4A Player of the Year. However, Cruz is set to graduate from Lincoln, so the path to 3 straight state championships will not be easy. Time to take a look at the big picture as we check out our final top 10 basketball teams in the land. It was a coast-to-coast title run for St. Anthony's of Jersey City, New Jersey. St. Anthony stayed atop our rankings all season long thanks to a perfect 32-0 record. Rutgers-bound forward Mike Rosario scored 21 points as the Friars defeated Science Park of Newark to win New Jersey's Tournament of Champions. Standout guard Dominic Sheik will return next season as St. Anthony sets out to defend its national championship. Finishing second was another New Jersey team, St. Benedict's Prep of Newark. The Gray Bees finished the season with a 24-1 record. They also featured the Gatorade New Jersey Player of the Year, power forward Samardo Samuel. The future Louisville Cardinal averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds last season. He's the second player in St. Benedict's history to earn the honor. Here's a look at the rest of the list. Time for our last break of the show, but stick around. We'll tell you how to become a part of the program right after this.
Closed captioning of Future Phenoms is brought to you by
Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. Cleans, conditions, and protects with no artificial shine and no overspray. Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. Welcome to the Ice Age.
What's up, everyone? Pete here, and welcome to Blue Hippo, where anyone can get a brand new, brand name computer regardless of their credit. And if you order now, we'll send you a free color printer and a free flat screen TV so you can watch your favorite shows and movies and print and email digital photos. When you order today, you can get your choice of a brand new desktop or laptop, plus a free color printer and a free LCD TV. And remember, there is no credit check and your approval is guaranteed. But you must call Blue Hippo now. Hey, Bill. How's it going?
What is that?
It's my new bike and the amazing protection plan I got for it.
There's an easier way to protect your motorcycle. Call Geico. They insure all types of vehicles.
Geico Power Sports. Insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
Creative Machining Technologies. Machine components built for high performance. We recently celebrated being awarded the prestigious ISO 9001-2000 certification. And we are also IEC ISO 17025 certified. CMT is currently seeking professional individuals for various strategic positions, as well as engineers, tool and die journeymen, and senior machinists to manufacture machine components for a variety of industries. Creative Machining Technologies. Manufacturing products for the world.
Since 1961, Blackhawk Bank has been a foundation of loyalty and experience. I'm Heidi Hughescamp, and I invite you to continue your financial journey with Blackhawk Bank & Trust Financial Services Division. When you partner with us, you will find a highly trained and knowledgeable team committed to creating and maintaining your financial security. At Blackhawk Bank & Trust, the foundation for managing your financial wishes is a reality.
How to get great movies on TV. Sit down. Aim remote. Press. Now watch hit movies anytime you want with Movies on Demand. Pause, rewind, even fast forward. And never leave your seat. Just use your remote to choose from hundreds of titles with 24 hours to enjoy them. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Movies on Demand. Don't just do something. Sit there.
Do you have what it takes to be a future phenom? We'd like to see for ourselves. Send us a tape or a DVD of yourself in action. Future Phenoms, 3575 Lone Star Circle, Suite 116, Fort Worth, Texas, 76177. We look forward to seeing just what kind of talent is out there. That should just about do it for this special edition of the show. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. I'm Pat Summerall, wishing you all a great week as we get into the zone.
Closed captioning of Future Phenoms is brought to you by
Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. Cleans, conditions, and protects with no artificial shine and no overspray. Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. Welcome to the Ice Age.
Quiet on the sip. Pick 73. Hello out there in TV land. Save your applause laughter. Very popular. Whoa, get your foot off the fogger. Okay, here we go with another ho-ho.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
Wednesday on Chicago Tribune Live, Nick Swisher joins us live from the South Side as the White Sox get ready to take on the Twins. Plus, we'll have the latest from Cincy as we break down the Cub-Reds morning matchup. All that and more Wednesday at 5:30.
Hi, I'm Ron Santer, and you're watching Comcast Sports Net.
Coming up on Sports Night.
You can attempt to be funny if it's on camera. It'll never be funny if it's in the print.
After a weekend to forget in Toronto, Kenny Williams talks about his team's problems on and off the field.
I don't view